Ali, 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 yeah. I praise Allah for these lessons. I'm striving to be the message, and I thank Allah for His blessings. Ali was the circle 7. I praise Allah for these lessons. I'm striving to be the message, and I thank Allah for His blessings. Ali was the circle 7. I praise Allah for these lessons. I'm striving to be the message, and I thank Allah for His blessings. Ali was the circle 7. I praise Allah for these lessons. I'm striving to be the message, and I thank Allah for His blessings. Ali was the circle 7. I praise Allah for these lessons. I'm striving to be the message, and I thank Allah for His blessings. Ali was the circle 7. I praise Allah for these lessons. I'm striving to be the message, and I thank Allah for His blessings. Ali was the circle 7.
Islam. Moorish America on the rise upon the 7 and give all praises to the great God Allah, Father God Allah, and honors to His holy prophet, honors to our holy prophet, Noble Drew Ali, El-Hajj, Sharif Abdul Ali, that is. Give honors to our Moorish kin once again, here, there, and everywhere, and therefore honors to all of you who are continuously honoring yourselves by being yourselves. We give honors to our Grand National Seal, Grand National Emblem, National Flag, Divine Constitution and bylaws, and honors to all of you who are indeed a living manifestation and personification of everything. And I do mean everything that our Holy Prophet brought to make us a nation. I welcome you to another late night library session. I'm your host instructor, Dr. Shahid Imani Amohadi Shabazel. My ancient committee and high name being the same as Dr. Shedawal Minty El Muhajjid Sheptuel. Got a grand drawing to bring on the manifest. Actually, I want to pick up where we left off at last night, so to speak. Really, to reach out to the family that was tuning in. You know, if some of our family come in, we'll end up bringing this to an open discussion, so to speak. And since we got our brother Born Dog in here, you know, I don't know if you ever chime in, good brother, but what I'm gonna do, just in case, I'm gonna drop this link right here for any questions that you may have, fam. You know, you can either hit the link, or you know, you can drop the links in the chat, and I just vibrate with your family, you know, on some things, and maybe pull some things up as well. Go into a few things that we have been speaking of in our last discussion dealing with the plane sphere of Iunet, you know, aka Dendera, divine light and the angelic ladder, you know, of Ascension. So, you know, we got some grand drawing to bring on the manifest. Of course, you already know I got something locked and loaded, you know, to share as well, you know. So if you have any questions, brother, yes, sir, go ahead, brother. Drop your questions in there, however many you choose. Yeah, any questions? Like I said, if somebody want to drop on the link, it's an open discussion based on the information that we put out here recently. Anything it is, that of the past information that we put out, not just the one we just did the other night, but any of the information that you would have a question on, you can hit the link, or you can either drop the question in the comment section, and I answer the questions. So all is well. All is well. Yes, sir. Born dog, I'm waiting on your question, family. Whenever you drop it. Okay. Yeah, I can do that. Yeah. I'm glad you did that, good brother. I'm glad you yeah, it's all right. It's all right. What it is, it's a delay. It's a delay problem on my end, you know. So when you typing it, it ain't gonna come exactly when you type it. But it came pretty close after. So I know probably at least maybe wait about a good 2 minutes or whatever after I ask you, and then we'll be good. So yeah, that's a good thing, brother. And I mentioned that too. When it come down to dealing with the concept of Muhammad being with Aisha, you know, that's not factual. Even when it come to dealing with the age, Aisha was said to be like 18 years old according to the hadiths. Even though people try to lie and make it look like she was 14, when he was with her. And this is why, the hadiths, I want to go into that first and foremost, just like the beat the wife type of stuff they was talking about. That's a bunch of foolishness as well. Because you got to look at it. Let's look at it like this. Let's say, brother Barn Dog, that let's just say you was Prophet Muhammad. And let's say that, the Supreme Being revealed a book to you. And, the book came to you as it is. Wasn't nothing else supposed to be brought forth outside of that book. And you brought the message just like it was gave to you. And you end up passing for them, or whatever, get buried in 200 years after your passing. Some of the people that wasn't even born during your time start producing other doctrine, when that was already forbidden by you. This lets you know that this was Shaitan's test for the Muslims, basically, bro. Because Prophet Muhammad, I'm finna show you, and I wasn't gonna even go into this right here, but I went into some things the other day. I'm gonna show you something. This right here is this is enough to kill the foolishness right here. Because there's a lot of hearsay and a lot of people that was producing hadiths. A lot of people that was producing hadiths in Islam, they did it against the will of Prophet Muhammad. And most of the original people that was there condemned it. Like I say, me, when I'm more flexible. Now you got a lot of Muslims now, they going in on this hadith. They going all the way in, bro. They like literally they ain't even playing. When it come down to and I want to give honors to them because they got the courage enough to stand up against this. And nothing wrong with, like I say, having a biography on Muhammad, but Muhammad told them to narrate his life, meaning pass it down from mouth to ear, so to speak. But he told them to burn the hadiths up. So anybody coming behind them, if Allah say in the Quran, obey Allah and his messenger, and they come behind that, bro, and he told them not to collect that stuff. And the reason why Muhammad said don't collect it, because he said he didn't want the hadith words getting confused with the Quran. Even Umar, one of the main caliphs, who actually brought the concept up, he wanted to bring the hadiths, and he was told not to do it. He burned them. Aisha, the prophet's wife, she had some. Umar found out. He say, well, do you have some hadith? Yeah, she had them. He took them from her. He burned them. She said, why you burned them? And he told him, he said, because basically the Quran is sufficient on itself. I'm going to show this to you. And I'm showing you that I personally feel this was Shaitan's way. A lot of people like to call it a negative energy way of trying to, not trying, but actually interjecting innovation into the way of life. And it was done under the premises that, you know, they was trying to keep up with what Muhammad was doing. But Prophet Muhammad said everything in the Quran was sufficient enough to be demonstrated. Now, mind you, most of the wars that's fought among different sects in Islam is based on hadith. I mean, as soon as Muhammad passed on, you got to look at this too. His family was split. I mean, they killed Ali. You know, they assassinated him. You know, and it was a lot of people that didn't really agree with the religion, so to speak. They was only acting like that because they was outnumbered. And so some of the Sahaba was like, they wanted to take him off the count. They asked Muhammad, could they get him? And he told them no, because they said, La ilaha illallah, them your brothers. You know, whatever you think, even if that is their intent, being that they said there is no God but Allah, you can't touch him. And so soon as he died, soon as Muhammad passed on, them same people that he told them not to touch end up assassinating a lot of the people. See what I'm saying? And so this has been the dynamic, even all the way up into this modern time. You got a lot of Bedouin Arabs right now in Saudi Arabia, different countries, bro. They do not like Islam. They feel like some of the people over here. Only difference is they act on that dislike for Islam. You see what I'm saying? And so being that they act on that dislike from Islam, they destroyed it from within. You know, that what better way can you destroy something by destroying it from within? They know that certain acts that they commit in the name of Islam will cause Muslims to be blamed. So that's a way of being able to have Islam, you know, targeted, so to speak, and it's worked well. We even got some soldiers from over here that done went over there and perpetrated like they was Muslims and committed certain acts too. So, you know, unfortunately, it's said that Islam came into the world as a stranger and it will leave as a stranger. One of the hadiths say that. But like I say, when it comes down to dealing with the hadith, I take them with a grain of salt, because if it contradicts the Quran, I don't pay too much mind to it. So I'm gonna show you some stuff real quick. Let me see if you have. And yeah, our brother say I knew this. I came with respect and love. Yeah, I already get it, brother. I know you don't mean no harm. You know, and it's my duty to give you clarity on this. You know, because some people gonna take certain things and run with it. It's crazy how many people willing to believe what the hadith say, right? Just because the hadith say something that's supposed to be in opposition to Prophet Muhammad. However, they don't want to believe nothing the Quran say. I mean, make it make sense. And that came from Muhammad. So first they'll say Muhammad don't exist, right? But if Muhammad don't exist, then how can Muhammad commit an act against a 14-year-old? Make it make sense. You see what I'm saying? If none of these people, and that's one of the questions I have for other people. Like, if Muhammad don't exist, how in the world can he do the things they say he did? It don't make no sense. You know, so it's only they want Muhammad to exist only when Muhammad's supposed to did something that's supposed to be vehemently, you know, just terrible. Then he existed. You know, so that don't make no sense. And it's the same thing with the brother Yehoshua. Yehoshua exists, you know, when they want to talk down on Yehoshua, but when, you know, believing in Yehoshua's existence, you know, is predicated upon the text itself, then he don't exist. That's crazy. That's crazy. That's insanity, as if you ask me. Because if he didn't exist, then that means the concept of him touching a 14-year-old couldn't exist. I mean, that's just enough logic to kill that nonsense. You see what I'm saying? So in other words, you are basically basing this off of what somebody else recorded. If you think that he doesn't exist and you accepting that, you just going along with something. That means that you just want to be in opposition. That's how I take it to those people who take that type of position. Because to accept his existence would mean to have to also accept his prophethood. And we know they ain't gonna do that. You see? But one thing that they can't deny is certain things that can't be denied in regards to dealing with that prophecy. Certain things Muhammad had no knowledge of. And guess what? I'm gonna show you how cold-blooded it is. Because they actually got some of the Quran being quoted in the scientific community. Watch this. I'm gonna show it to you in a second. Let me pull it up, as a matter of fact, because I got a couple of things I'm gonna pull up. Them Arabs, them desert Arabs, them Bedouin Arabs, that was against the way of life, against Muhammad and the Muslims. They innovated a lot of stuff, and that's what happened when the Muslims started writing hadiths. So you finna see something that people don't know, because that's the first thing they say. Well, you can't have this without the hadith. Who told you that? Where you got that from? We finna debunk all that foolishness. And that way you'll see that people like to, I call it cherry picking. I call it selective research. I call it picking and choosing, whatever you want to call it. Okay, let's see here. Let's see here. Let's see here. Once I get this here, I'm gonna go ahead and share the screen. And like I said, this is just oh, here it is right here. There we go. This is where I want to be at right here. This is an authentic source. You're gonna trip when you see this right here, Born Dog. This your boy favorite website. Let me go ahead and share the screen real quick. I had my other stuff up to go into a couple of those things as well. So if somebody want to ask questions about that, all is well. We'll let them ask questions about the information we put out here on that too. So anybody that want to hit that link as well, family, this is an open discussion. You're welcome to come in here. In regards to dealing with any of the past measures. Our brother Bondall just set it off. He just asked one question. Our brother said, as far as a Moorish American government, do you have to African American / also want to tell this? I hope don't change the brotherhood of my father Puerto Rican and my mom. No, family. No, not at all. Because I'm gonna show you something on that in the Moorish Holy Quran in a second. I'm gonna show you a few things in regards to dealing with that, good brother. So no, to be Moorish American, you can be who you are. As far as who you are, your bloodline. The Prophet talked about that in the first 4 books that he wrote. So I'm gonna address this measure dealing with the what I was talking about earlier about this hadith situation, and then we'll visit the hadiths, where they have this stuff, and then we'll show you what's actually being said and why I follow the Quran itself alone. Okay, so let me hit it again. I want to make sure that I'm getting it shared. I'm gonna show you why I follow the Quran alone. So for those who are here looking, we are addressing our brother's question, and I seen him talking about it. Our brother, asked the question. We're gonna put it on the screen right there. See, the other night, There was talk about somewhere in the Quran about Muhammad being with a 14-year-old girl. There's nowhere in the Quran that say nothing about Muhammad being with a 14-year-old girl. That's a lie. They basically trying to use the hadith, quote the hadith as if the hadith is the Quran. So they're gonna keep bringing that type of stuff. They're gonna talk about Muhammad beating the wife. I want to address that too. Saying that the Quran justify man beating the women. I'm gonna show you all of this here. And like I said earlier, for those who say Muhammad don't exist, if he don't exist, how could he have touched a 14-year-old girl? Make it make sense. You want him to exist as touching a 14-year-old girl, but to acknowledge that the Quran was revealed to him, you say he didn't exist. He was fake. That don't make no sense to me, family. But anyway, let me get into this, the problem, because I already addressed this already. But let me get into the main problem here. This is the problem here, Brother Born Dog. And I'm gonna let me take this down so y'all can see the whole screen real quick. This is the main problem. Problem is there were some of those who were among the Muslims who actually took up Allah's challenge. Allah said, if you think that you basically have something to stand upon and produce, your book, produce your work. And he was actually challenging the unbelievers, that the non-Muslims, basically saying, if y'all believe that this Quran is fake, that I revealed to Muhammad, produce something better. Because there was a lot of poets and all that right there around that time. That's why the Quran was revealed the way it was. See, when the Most High revealed something to most people, he revealed it to them based on where they at. In Arabia, it was a whole bunch of love for pageantry and poetry. So that's why he made the Quran eloquent. Because he knew in order to bring something on the manifest, it had to be more eloquent than what the poets was talking about. And something that the poets couldn't produce. And so that's why it was challenges in the Quran saying, if y'all think y'all can produce something, then bring it. And now one of them poets or people ever tried to do it. But I'm telling you, people that were supposed to be Muslims, they don't talk about this in Islam, but actual Muslims are the ones to try to challenge Allah. Allah told them, that ain't no hadith outside of the Quran. The Quran is the hadith. It said over and over. So this is Umar, one of the rightly guided caliphs. Meaning just like you're supposed to listen to what Prophet Muhammad say after Muhammad, you're supposed to listen to everything Umar say. Now, we'll go to Muhammad first. We can even just do it like this right here. Okay, here you go. I just asked this here. Watch this. And then I'm going to go into the actual short, different sources. Okay, here you go. Here you go. This is basic information, right? You would think, as much as they try to promote this stuff, see it right here, did Muhammad want the hadiths to be written? These are a whole bunch of different people speaking in here, right? Here's the first person. To answer this question, let's ponder on the following. First, Prophet Muhammad was victorious and his enemies were defeated. If Prophet Muhammad had wanted hadiths to be written, we would have had hadiths written either by himself or under his supervision, authorization, and approval during his lifetime, because his enemies did not have power to stop him from doing so. The fact that hadiths were written only 200 years later speaks for itself that Prophet Muhammad did not want it. Second, God revealed to Muhammad that there were hypocrites around him that Muhammad didn't know. So this is what Allah has said about some of the Arabs around Muhammad. In the name of Allah, the Beneficent and Merciful. This is Surah 9, the only surah that don't have Bismillah beginning in it. 101. It says, and from among the nomads, they use, sometimes they say Bedouins, Bedouin Arabs. Same term I be using. They say around you are hypocrites. And from among the people of the city, they persist in hypocrisy. You do not know them, but we know them. And we will punish them twice. And then they will be returned to a great punishment. So Allah telling Muhammad that there's some Bedouin Arabs around him, some hypocrites. He don't know who they is, but Allah saying he know who they is. Now, I can actually coincide this with what I was talking about earlier, Born Dog, when I was telling you that some of the Sahaba around Muhammad wanted to kill some of these people they knew was hypocrite. They knew they were hypocrites, and he told them not to touch them. Muhammad told the Sahaba, don't do nothing to them. He knew they were, Muhammad knew they was hypocrites because Allah told him someone was around it. So this shows you how just Muhammad was. They try to make him out to be a beast and an animal. But if Muhammad was so unjust, he would have tell them, yeah, go get their heads. Take them off the count. But he said, they said there is no God but Allah. You know, even though he knew that they was telling the truth. Them still your brother, leave him alone. And when he passed for him, when he died, these same people that's being spoke of here are the ones that start killing the Muslims. True story. True story. You know? So some people probably would say, why Muhammad let the hypocrite live and kill the believers, you know? And he told them before he passed, you know, according to the hadith, they say. You know, like Jesus gave his sermon on the Mount. This is like Muhammad's sermon on the Mount. He told the Muslim not to kill each other, not to cut each other's throat. Love each other, want for each other what they want for themselves. That was the last thing, according to the hadith, that Muhammad said. Well, guess what? Aisha, his wife, and the other parts of his family, you know, none of them didn't obey Muhammad. According to the hadith, they started fighting. The Shiite and Sunni war began as soon as Muhammad passed from him, as soon as he died. So this showed you that both of them was wrong. We ain't gonna give them one of them the high road and make one feel like one more noble than the other. Both of them was wrong. If you really believe in Muhammad. So that's why I'm saying. And then the war that's been going on now between Sunni and Shia all the way up to this time is based on this same stuff here. You see what I'm saying? Muhammad long gone. He already told them. Watch this. We're going to put it up here like this right here. Because that's why I keep saying people have to stop demonizing, you know, yeah, this is why I tell you, you know, people have to stop demonizing the prophets. Because it's the people that went astray. It ain't the prophet. They did what they were supposed to do. Listen to this here. This is Muhammad's last word to the Muslim right here. This is what he told them. This is what Muhammad told them now. According to the tradition of Islam, the last sermon of Prophet Muhammad. Because it ain't going to make sense of what I'm saying till I show you this. What this man told these people. This sermon was delivered on the 9th day of Dhul Hijjah. 10 Hijra, the Hijra, 623 AD. It says in the Urana Valley of Mount Arafat in Mecca. It was the occasion of annual rites of Hajj. It is also known as the farewell pilgrimage. After praising and thanking Allah, Prophet, peace be upon him, began with the words, O people, lend me an attentive ear, for I know not whether after this year I should ever be amongst you again. Therefore, listen carefully to what I am saying and take these words to those who could not be present here today. O people, just as you regard this month and this day and this city sacred, so regard the life and property of every Muslim a sacred trust. We know that they didn't regard the life and property of Muslims sacred trust. Because I just told you they started killing Muslims, killing Muslims. You see what I'm saying? Can you blame Prophet Muhammad for that? No, because he's telling them what to do. He telling them to regard the life and property of every Muslim sacred trust. Then some of them started the slave trade, dealing with our people. Prophet Muhammad didn't authorize that. That's what they did. So they didn't regard the life and property of every Muslim a sacred trust. They violated that right there from the beginning. We already know these people in violation right here. That's something that he didn't want. That's why I'm saying people got to stop blaming him for these liars and these hypocrites. It's bad that good men have to be held accountable for the acts of ignoramuses. So again, it says, return the goods entrusted to you. It says, to their rightful owners. It says, hurt no one, so that no one may hurt you. Remember that you will indeed meet your Lord, and that he will reckon your deeds. And he says, Allah has forbidden you to take usury. Therefore, all interest, obligations shall henceforth be waived. So he's saying that you don't even supposed to deal with being using people. Like Muslims, they don't never supposed to be trying to come over here and raise the price on certain things. Islamically, they don't supposed to do that, especially when it comes to another Muslim. Like if you go to a dealership and they trying to make you get a vehicle and take you beyond the price of what it's supposed to be, that's un-Islamic. If they coming out here, they selling you swine, pork, and all this stuff right here, that's still usury. That's un-Islamic. So who you going to blame for that? You going to blame Muhammad for that or the people that's doing it? So again, it says your capital is yours to keep. You will neither inflict nor suffer any inequality. Oh man, you already know women been fighting for rights in Islam since Muhammad passed for them. So you know it's some inequality going. You know it's a Muslim that's racist against black people. But does that make the Quran bad? No, that's these people that's going to have to pay for that and suffer for that, because the Quran didn't teach that. That's how they tried to interpret Quran. So it says Allah has judged that there should be no interest, and that all interest due to Abbas ibn Mutalib be waived. So Muslims don't supposed to charge interest. That's what I was talking about right there about dealership. They don't supposed to charge the interest to no Muslim. They shouldn't charge interest at all, but they definitely don't supposed to charge interest to a Muslim. You see? It said every right arising out of homicide in pre-Islamic days is henceforth waived. And the first such right that I waive is that arising from the murder of Rabia ibn al-Haritha. You know, so basically he was saying that, you know, a murder that happened to one of the believers or whatever the case may be, you know, he waived the right of somebody avenging the death, so to speak. You know, and be honest with you, that's why Ali got, they took him off the count. You know, after Muhammad, Ali got took off the count because they say he wouldn't give them an order to go and wage war on some more Muslims. So they beheaded Ali. Muslims did this. You understand what I'm saying? That does not make the Quran wrong. That make them wrong. You get what I'm saying? And so people have to be able to, you can't throw the baby out with the bathwater. You know, you can't do that. Because if we do that, we can say the same thing about most of the books that we have. In Africa, there are certain books, you know, that our people demonstrated certain things with against each other. They fought each other and everything. Same type of way the Muslim did. You gonna blame the teaching, or you gonna blame the people that deviated from the teaching? Ain't nothing wrong with the books. It's something wrong with the people that claim to follow the books. You understand? It says, "O men, the unbelievers indulge in tampering with the calendar in order to make permissible that which Allah forbade." It says, "and prohibit what Allah has made permissible. With Allah, the months are 12 in number. 4 of them are holy, and they are successive, and one occurs singly between the months of Jumada and Shaban." So he was telling them not to follow, you know, the calendar of the unbelievers basically. He was telling why they was manipulating the calendar. Then it says, beware of Satan for the safety of your religion. He has lost all hope that he will be able to lead you astray in big things. So beware of following him in small things. So he basically saying that Shaitan, his plans, are futile, but he gonna try to throw some little small little stuff in there just to get you off the path, so to speak, the lower self. It says, "Oh people, it is true that you have certain rights with regard to your women, but they also have rights over you." There you go. So that killed the lie that women ain't got no rights in Islam. Now, women may not have no rights under Islam, what the Bedouin Arabs demonstrate, but Muhammad said right here in his last speech to the Muslims, "Oh people, you have certain rights with regard to your women, but they also have rights over you." Come on now. So that right there kill that the women's supposed to be dominated concept. And if you got Muslims out here teaching like that, that ain't what Muhammad taught. So you can call these hypocrites. Don't be scared to call them hypocrite because they say they're Muslim. I'm calling them hypocrites. You understand? Remember that you, it say, have taken them as your wives only under Allah's trust and with his permission. If they abide by your right, then to them belongs the right to be fed and clothed in kindness. Do treat your women well and be kind to them, for they are your partners and committed helpers. And it is your right that they do not make friends with anyone of whom you do not approve, as well as never being unchaste. Now, being a man born, dog, ain't nothing but right about that right there. You don't want your woman being friends with anybody, bro. And that's outside of you even dealing with Islam. You ain't finna let your woman be around no anybody. Ain't no real man finna do that. Islam to the side. No man gonna do that. And they'll lie you if they tell you that. It ain't got nothing to do with being jealous. It ain't got nothing to do with being somebody that's trying to hover over her and be controlling. That's looking out for her. And if she understand that, all is well. You see? Even when it comes, it ain't got to be looking men, it's just women. Don't let them be around certain women because certain women is home wreckers. The main one ain't got no man be running her beat, talking about what this need to be and that. And if your woman ain't strong enough, if she look up to that woman, value her opinion, next thing you know, your woman, out there, acting crazy. She dealing with you based upon what that woman said. You see what I'm saying? So it says, "Oh people, listen to me in earnest. Worship Allah. Say your 5 daily prayers. Fast during the month of Ramadan. And give your wealth in zakat. Perform Hajj if you can afford it." Right? All mankind is from Adam and Eve. An Arab has no superior over a non-Arab, and a non-Arab has any superiority over an Arab. A white has no superiority over a black, and a black has no superiority over a white, except by piety and good action. I like the way Muhammad threw that off in there. Yeah, he said black ain't got no superior over the white except by piety and good action. Because most of our people are a pious people. When they say black, we ain't looking at that just as no black people. Because it's the black, brown, red, and the yellow man that was oppressed by this beast. You understand? And most of us are pious people. We don't go out looking to hate no Europeans. That's the narrative that they try to push because they have basically a guilt complex. Because they know, like I had a European today, I was out there painting. I was painting, and it was I think it was an older person that got in the vehicle because it was like a Pizza Hut there and they was ordering food. And maybe had left their drink. They might have put it down to try to put their stuff in the car and forgot it was there, but it was a cup down there and it was full of, I guess, some soda or whatever. And so the European walked by and he kicked it over. you know, and then it was like, oh, I'm sorry that I kicked you. That wasn't my drink. You know, I was like, that wasn't my drink, man. I was like, I think that was an older cat drink right there. He thought that was my drink, and he did that on purpose. Because after I told him that it wasn't my drink, it was them people drink, you know, I was like, and I said, even if you did kick my drink over, I said it wouldn't have been no big deal, man. You know, because I thought he did it. He was like, well, you know, thank you for being positive. You know, because I actually tried to kick it over. You know what I mean? Now I could have been a Negro and jumped up in his case and slapped fired him. You know, I could have did that if that's what I was on. You know, but I'm beyond that type of stuff. You know what I mean? And so I know he was trying to be funny. You see? That's just the nature of the European. You can be minding your business, doing what you do, and they like to do little stuff like that right there. And they don't like to see our people working for themselves neither. They definitely don't like that right there. They always got something slick to say. At least that's what I experienced from them. But I overlooked the foolishness. Either that or I hit them with some of this knowledge. You know, I go to telling them about themselves. You know, when they go to talking little stuff, you know, I love to tell them how ignorant people is. You know, when they don't know themselves, they run from me when I do that. But nevertheless, Muhammad telling you right here, I want to go back to the first part though. If he say an Arab has no superiority over non-Arab, and you got Arabs out here racist, we know they. I know for a fact some of them here, bro. In Islam, they literally racist. I done ran into some. You make them mad enough, they'll say some little slick stuff. I done met a lot of them in social media. That's why we enslaved your ancestors. I know they got full of hatred in them. That's why I don't hold no punches when I'm talking right now, because I know how they is. You see what I'm saying? I done went amongst some of them, you know, and they know I'm Muslim, and I greet them. And I told them, I said, oh, you can't return the greeting, huh? You know, I'm that type of person. I call you out to your face, you know, on the spot. And then next time I come, they try to greet me. You know what I mean? But the thing is about it, I be calling them on their crap. So, you know, nevertheless, Muhammad told them, but that didn't stop them from doing it. So this is a part of what Muhammad said. This right here is more important than the hadith, because he actually said this according to every Muslim believe it. If they believe this, then why they going contrary to it? That means that they ain't listening to the prophet. And if you disobey the prophet according to the Quran, you disobeying Allah. So he went on. He also said, learn that every Muslim is a brother to every Muslim, and that Muslims constitute one brotherhood. So if it do, then why you got Shiites, Wahhabis, and all types of different branches fighting against each other? Sunnis. Nothing shall be legitimate to a Muslim which belongs to a fellow Muslim unless it was given freely or willingly. That means you don't supposed to be taking nothing. So the Muslim that be taking land from other Muslims and all that right there, the Al-Bidan who enslaved the Mauritanians and, you know, in the slave trade and all that right there, they was Kafirs. Because even Muhammad say, and this is a hadith, he say, I'm going to quote some hadith. It say anytime that they do that, when Muslims do stuff that's un-Islamic, they ain't considered a Muslim. If you go rob something and you supposed to be Islamic, you ain't a Muslim during the time of committing that robbery. That's the teaching of the way it go. You know, if you doing something that's outside, you ain't a Muslim. You're an unbeliever. You're a kafir. Any Muslim, a righteous one, will admit to what I'm telling you right now, family. They don't like to talk about this stuff because don't nobody want to be called on their mess. But anyway, he said, do not therefore do injustice to yourselves. Remember, one day you will meet Allah and answer your deeds. So beware. Do not stray from the path of righteousness after I'm gone. Now, you know good and well, a lot of Muslims is not, I ain't condemning everybody, but it's a lot of Muslims that is not on the path of the Sirat al-Mustaqim, bro. They worse than the unbelievers. It says, "Oh people, no prophet or apostle will come after me." He says, "No new faith will be born." He telling them that, meaning nothing gonna come to them. Ain't no prophet coming to them after him. He ain't talking about the world. He talking about them. Ain't no new faith gonna be coming to you after me. It says, "Reason well, therefore, O people, and understand the words I convey to you. I leave behind me two things, the Quran and the Sunnah. If you follow these, you will never go astray." And this is where they try to slide their stuff in. You can see the person tried to highlight it here. The Quran is the Sunnah. We showed that to you already. Quran is the Hadith, the only Hadith. The Quran is the Sharia. You see what I'm saying? Sunnah just simply means path, the law. You understand? So this is where they go astray, and they go to add them hadiths in there, and then next thing you know, people confused, they fighting each other, you know, going astray, saying stuff about Prophet Muhammad that don't exist, you know, putting lies out there, saying things that don't even it don't even compare to a scientific literacy, so to speak. But it says, "All those who listen to me shall pass on my words to others, and those to others again may the last ones understand my words better than those who listen to me directly." And he was talking about word of mouth tradition, bro. He wasn't talking about in books. It says, "Allah be my witness that I have conveyed your message to your people." As a part of this sermon, the prophet recited to them a revelation from Allah which he had just received, which completed the Quran, for it was the last passage to be revealed. It says, "This day the disbelievers despair prevailing against your religion. Fear them not, but fear me, Allah. This day I have perfected for you your religion and fulfilled my favor unto you. And it had been my good pleasure to choose Islam for you as your religion." Surah 5, Ayat 3. The sermon was repeated sentence by sentence by Sufwan's brother Ra, who had a powerful voice, at the request of the prophet, and he faithfully proclaimed to over 10,000 gathered on the occasion. Towards the end of his sermon, the prophet asked, "O people, I have faithfully delivered unto you my message." A powerful murmur, accents of Allah, yes, arose from thousands of pilgrims. It says in vibrant words of Allahumma Nam. It says, "and rolled like thunder throughout the valley." And prophet raised his forefinger and said, "Oh, I bear witness that I have conveyed your message to your people." It's the last thing, according to the history of Islam, that Muhammad said to his people. You know what I mean? What you would expect a prophet to say. You understand? So all the one that's claiming that they following the prophet, bro, and they went astray from that. Bro. That's the problem. That's the problem right there. And you cannot blame Prophet Muhammad for that. Now I'm gonna go deeper, you know, because a lot of people like to act as if the Quran, you know, is fake and it was made up and, you know, all this here and that there. But I'm gonna get into that in a second too. But I'm gonna go back to these comments of these Muslims talking about this hadith real quick, because this is important. So after Allah revealed this to him and told him he had hypocrites around him, it said, "Now imagine you are Prophet Muhammad and you are commanded by God to spread his message. To spread his message, one of the necessary steps is to write what God has revealed. This is a very important step because you would not expect the hypocrites around you to just sit back and relax doing nothing. Those hypocrites will always try to twist, change, confuse, and divert from what God has revealed. And they do so behind your back. The fact that hadiths were written only 200 years later, it says, speaks for itself that Muhammad did not want it. Please note that if Muhammad did not know the hypocrites around him, despite interacting directly with his companions, we cannot expect Imam Bukhari, Imam Muslim, etc., who lived 200 years later and never interacted directly with companions of the prophet to be able to identify which narrators were hypocrites and which were true believers. You see what I'm saying? They just going off of what was given to. It says, third, Prophet Muhammad's personal interpretation of the Quran is limited to the science and knowledge of his era, and he was fully aware of this. Hence, he did not want hadiths to be written. Surah 21, Ayat 30. Have those who rejected not seen the heavens and the earth were one piece. So we split them apart, and we have made from water everything that lives. Will they not believe? Right? The Big Bang Theory was not known in Prophet Muhammad's time. So Prophet Muhammad's interpretation of the above verse in his era would be different from our interpretation in our era. Surah 51, Ayat 47, in the heaven we constructed with resources, and we are expanding it. All this stuff is what really went on and is going on according to the scientific text. But how did Muhammad have this knowledge when he didn't have the instruments to be able to test what he was saying? I'll wait. How did Muhammad have knowledge about the heavens expanding? How did he have knowledge about life coming from water? Answer that question when the man was supposed to be illiterate. He didn't have no telescope. Like they're saying here in Prophet Muhammad's era, there was no Hubble telescope. So Prophet Muhammad's personal interpretation of the above verse would be different from our interpretation in our era. You know, Surah 78, Ayat 6. Did we not make the earth a habitat? It says 787, in the mountain as pegs. Muhammad ain't never dug no mountain up to know that it's pegs that's actually holding it down. Come on, man. Advances in geology in our era has allowed us to have a better understanding of the above verse. Without knowledge of geology of our era, Prophet Muhammad's personal interpretation of the above verse will be different from ours. There are many more verses which we in our era have the luxury to understand better due to advances in science and technology compared to the era of Prophet Muhammad. Fourth, Prophet Muhammad is not a fake prophet, and a true prophet has the following characteristic. Surah 3, Ayat 79. It is not conceivable that a human being unto whom God had granted revelation and sound judgment and prophethood should thereafter have said unto the people, worship me beside God, but rather did exhort them, become men of God by spreading the knowledge of divine writ and by your own deep study thereof. So Muhammad, as a true prophet, did not want hadiths to be written. Instead, he wanted the people to become men of God by studying the book and spreading the knowledge of the book. I agree. You know, so they got a whole bunch of them up here. This is another one responding here. No, he did not. In fact, Prophet Muhammad prohibited people from writing his conversation. Facts. He made them burn them up, which is what hadith is, explicitly stating that he did not want those conversations to get mixed up with Quranic verses. So if he told them not to do it, family, and they did it after he told them not to, because that's what's going on right now. Exactly what he didn't want to happen. That's what's going on. You got people mixing the hadith up with the Quran. And that's why they're telling you, talking about some in the Quran, it authorized him to sleep with a 14-year-old. Ain't no surah, bro. I done read the Quran. Ain't no surah in the Quran that talk about sleeping with no 14-year-old, bro. That's a lie. That's coming from hadiths. And even this hadiths don't even justify some of that. The hadiths actually say that she was around 18 years old. But still, it's hadith. You see what I'm saying? It's hearsay, people. It's hearsay. At the same time, he carefully dictated the Quran to his scribes. Hence, the Quran was in written form during the Prophet's lifetime. And most of it was in the order we have today. All of it was formally assembled into a book form by bringing together all of the scribe material in the presence of Abu Bakr, Umar, and the scribes. This took place within 2 years after the Prophet's death. From that moment, the Quran has been totally unchanged. The most respected collection of hadith is that of Imam Bukhari. He did a marvelous job of collecting and verifying the authenticity of his collection. It has been said that his final assembled collection contains about 10% of what he collected. The rest he put to the torch. He set it on fire. It says, here is the important part. Imam Bukhari lived 200 years after the Prophet. Yes, 200 years. Yes, the way they talk about Bukhari, you'll think that he was right there with Muhammad. The way Muslim talk about al-Bukhari, you'll swear that he was right there. And that man was 200 years after Muhammad passed. It says, yes, we know these people had great memories. How do we know? Indeed, Imam Bukhari performed an invaluable service for the Muslim community for all time to come. But to come back to the question, it is clear that the Prophet was indeed concerned about the side effects of having his everyday conversations, which by their very nature were largely topical, mixed with the words of the Quran. You see what I'm saying? And got a whole bunch of upvotes, so it looked like a bunch of Muslims waking up. Here it is again. This is another thing. Now, I can go this far. I'm going to go to basic teaching of Islam. The 5 pillars of Islam, one of the pillars is belief in the books of Allah. I challenge any Arab Muslim to prove to me that the Hadith is a book of Allah. If they said that, they'll make them a kafir. They'll be considered an unbeliever, bro. Because the Hadith is not a book from Allah. It was written 200 years after Muhammad passed from, and he told them not to do it. So it is no teaching in Islam at the basic fundamental 5 pillars that deal with belief in the Hadith. It's belief in the Quran. It's belief in the Bible, the original Torah, the Injil, all that, but it is no belief in the Hadiths. And you can best believe if it was really meant to be Hadith, it would put it in there. So it says, unlike the Quran, Hadith is not a divine revelation, and many are questionable and unacceptable. Besides, many Hadith are vulgar, and our beloved Prophet has been insulted. A lot of them do insult him. A lot of them Hadiths insult Muhammad. They insult his character. Some are illogical and some are contradictory to what is said in the Quran. It is said Bukhari collected about 660,000 hadith, of which some 7,000 odd have been classified as authentic. Collecting, writing, scrutinizing, classifying, deciding whether authentic or not by a committee, etc., is an enormous task. Besides, Bukhari claims he prayed 2 rakats of sunnah before recording any hadith. If it assumed the average time for a hadith to go through the full process of collecting is 1 day, he would have needed 660,000 days, which is when divided by 365 is 1,800 years. Hence, to accomplish this task is a mere period of 16 years, as claimed by Bukhari, is impossible, thus questioning his integrity. Going by the history of hadith, it has been recorded that the Prophet did not want anyone to write any hadith and had requested to erase any hadith that anyone had written. In fact, it has been reported that the Prophet had queried whether they were writing another book besides the Quran. He did say that to them. Like, y'all writing another book, is the Quran not enough? He asked him that question when he ran up, he found Abu Hurairah. He asked him, what's that? I'm going to show you the hadith. It said, none of the wives of the Prophet, nor any of his companion Sahabas wrote any hadith, though they would have been the best persons to write hadith. They had refrained from writing on the command of the Prophet. All 6 hadith books have been written by Persians, Zoroastrians, non-Arabs, about 200 to 500, 400 years after the prophet. Say, give below a few such questionable hadiths in Bukhari's collection. Volume 7, Book 62, number 6, narrated by Anas. The prophet, I used to go around, have sexual relations with all his wives one night, and he had 9 wives. Narrated, Volume 7, 62, 49. Narrated Ibn Abbas, the prophet got married while he was still in a state of Irham. You know, here's another, narrated by Sahel. A woman came to the prophet and presented herself to him for marriage. He said, I'm not in need of woman these days. And then a man said, oh, Allah's apostle, marry her to me. The prophet asked him, what have you got? He said, I got nothing. The prophet said, give her something. Give even an iron ring. And he said, I have got nothing. And the prophet asked him, how much of the Quran do you know by heart? And he said, so much and so. And the prophet said, I have married her to you for what you know of the Quran. You know, so it goes on a whole bunch of different, you know, information in here. Yeah. This is not Aisha. Abu Bakr admonished me and poked me with his hand in the flank, and nothing stopped me from moving at that time except the position of Allah's apostles, whose head was on my thigh. You know what I mean? Come on, man. You know, here it is right here. Alice Ward, on the authority of his father Aisha, said, whenever Allah's apostle wanted to fondle any one of us during her periods of menses, he used to, in order to put her on insult, start fondling her. Aisha added, none of you could control his sexual desires as the prophet could. You see what I'm saying? So, I mean, we can go on and on and on with a lot of this stuff right here that completely contradicts what the Quran said. And they telling you this was wrote after him. So you can't blame Muhammad for this stuff being wrote after him. And, you know, only a fool or ignoramus will still go with that if he told them not to write it. It was wrote 200 years after him. You know, you want to believe in these writings, but you want to say the Quran that come from Muhammad fake, or you want to say Muhammad don't exist. Come on, man. This is obvious hatred. And a lot of them have that hatred and don't even know why they hate Islam. Muslim ain't did nothing to them, but they got some hatred toward Islam. They overzealous to fight Islam. Some of our people. They say the Muslims enslaved, you know, the people. Our people was participating in enslavement upon each other. You got Igbo was enslaving, you know, what you call them, Nigerians, and I mean, we can go in every aspect. We got Muslims enslaving Muslims. We got Africans enslaving Africans. This stuff was going on, people. This is real talk. All us done did harm. Our people fighting each other in Kemet. But what do that have to do with these books that was revealed before these men? That's what I want to know. If that's the case, then somebody can hate us as a people because some of our people go out and they rob, they steal, they shoot and everything. So all us supposed to get a blanket indictment for that too? Do that mean that all of us think the same way? Make it make sense, people. We got to start thinking logically and stop thinking like ignoramuses. And I ain't saying that to my people that's here. I'm just saying as a whole, man, we got to do better than this here. People be beefing with people and don't even know why they beefing. Half of these people don't even know nothing about the Quran and be trying to attack Islam. They go and read a portion over here that they think that they can find that support their arrogance and their opposition and then go against it. That's insane. So, I mean, it's a couple of more of them in here basically saying the same thing. This is it right here. This was actual hadith from Sahih, and Sahih is supposed to be the most accurate form. It said, do not write anything from me. This Muhammad talking. Whoever has written anything from me other than the Quran, let him erase it. It says, and narrate from me, for there is nothing wrong with that. So he was saying basically, repeat what I said, but don't write nothing in no books. This is what they say in the hadith. So how you going to write a hadith when he told you not to write a hadith? In the hadith. It's not enough. Here, go right here. The Quran. See, now this is why I say I accept like certain hadiths if they correspond with what the Quran say. All they did is just took that from the Quran. So we wouldn't reject that. To be honest with you, that would be the true definition of what they like to call hadith qudsi. Or what they call holy hadith. The only holy hadith is the hadith that come from Allah, the Quran. That's what make it hadith qudsi. Anything wrote after Muhammad, you couldn't call that hadith qudsi. It'd have to be from Allah himself. It said, it is not enough for them that we have revealed to you the book which is recited to them. Most surely there's mercy in this and a reminder for people who believe. This is what Allah said, because he knew what them ignoramuses and them hypocrites was doing. He knew that they was writing stuff other than what was being written. It says, Prophet Muhammad was commanded to guide the people by the revelations he received as wahi. As said in the verse below, say, I am warning you in accordance with the divine inspiration of wahi. However, the deaf cannot hear the call when they are warned. Quranic verses are self-explanatory and said in the verses below arguably. Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, himself could not have said anything to be written down except the Quran as a guide to mankind. Shall I seek other than God as a source of law when he has revealed to you this book fully detailed? Surah 6, Ayat 14. One day we shall raise from all people a witness against them, and from amongst themselves, and we shall bring thee as a witness against these, thy people. And we have sent down to thee the book explaining all things, a guide of mercy and glad tidings to Muslims. So if he said that he had perfected the religion for the people, then what is there need for you to have another book to try to explain the book that's already perfect? Unless you saying that Allah didn't know what he was doing. And shockingly, the prophet will complain against his people on the day of judgment, as it said in the verse below. And the apostle will say, O my sustainer, behold, my people have come to regard this Quran as something that ought be discarded. Meaning that basically his people been putting the hadith over the Quran. I know for a fact, I done dealt with a lot of Orthodox Muslims, and they quote the hadith, and so much you'll think, well, when they going to talk about the Quran? It make you wonder, why they quoting this hadith more than they quoting the Quran? Bro, I promise you, when I came into Islam with this mindset. Like, bro, I ain't putting no hadith. When I started reading the Quran, this ain't just started with me. I started off in Islam like this. That's why I stand so firm on it now. But I'm just surprised because most Muslims is trying to defend the hadith, but now the Muslims are actually standing up saying that the hadith is the reason why they having so much bloodshed and war and they right. But I've been thinking like this when I first came in here. Because I wasn't just listening. I ain't the type of person just listen to something. You going to tell me something and I'm going to eat it up, hook, line, and sinker. Bro, I'm going to go do the research. So I went and did the research, and I used to get into it with a lot of the Sunni brothers. I got into them about this one. Like, bro, where in the Quran does it say that we Sunni Muslims? Bro, it don't say that in the Quran. They used to get upset with me about that. Way back then, 30 years ago, bro. They would get upset when I asked them type of questions. Also I would say the concept of the salat. Like, I'm like, man, Allah say pray standing, walking, riding on your side. He didn't say nowhere in the Quran that you have to go through. Ain't nothing wrong with going through the modes and the forms and all that right there. I know where it come from. They come from Kemet. They come from our ancestors, Sabians, and all of that. But I'm saying stop trying to make people think they going to hell because they don't demonstrate. No. If you didn't do that, according to the tradition of Muhammad, you know, he wouldn't somebody that's going to condemn you to hell. He might have not have liked it, you know, but the Quran tell you basically you can pray anyway. And if you're in enemy territory, then you don't pray, you know, definitely by prostrating at all. You pray standing on horseback with a scimitar in your hand. You feel me? Or whatever the case may be. So, you know, a lot of the fanaticism has been introduced from this interpretation. It's the same thing that happened to Christianity. With Constantine them, you know, people go and take something, make it say what they want to say, and now you following what they say over the Most High. When they wrong, you know, as hell itself. So it says the words Sunnah and Hadith both exist in the Quran, not to mean the prophet saying and practices, but only to mean God's system, laws, narrative statements. And here are some of the verses of the Quran they may study. I quoted some of these in our last demonstration when I was demonstrating a few days ago. These are God's revelation we recite to you truthfully. In which hadith other than God in this revelation do they believe? This right here letting you know that you don't supposed to be doing that. The Quran right here. What hadith you gonna believe in outside the Quran? It's saying it in the Quran. So for them to know this and still be trying to push hadith over Quran, come on, bro. You got to be trying to taunt Allah for the rap. And you wonder why them Arabs over there catching hell right now. He told them they were gonna catch hell by producing hadiths. It go that far. Allah say that basically they gonna catch hell. He'll put them in the hellfire by writing hadith. It literally say that, and people still around here pushing this stuff. It says, such is God's system, Sunnah of Allah, right there in the Quran. I showed y'all in the Arabic. Throughout history, you find that God's system, Sunnah, is unchangeable. So if Allah's Sunnah don't change, then why you need a Sunnah outside of the Quran? So who wrong? Is Allah wrong? Is Prophet Muhammad wrong? Or is the Muslims, the hypocrites, and Bedouin Arabs wrong for refusing? I don't feel you ain't gonna do, you won't put your hands on me. You won't put your hands on me. I promise you that. So we ain't worrying about that there, man. I wish a member would. You know, goodness gracious. So, I mean, they got a whole bunch of people. Here's one that's talking about it. You know, this is a Muslim. They think that whoever rejects a hadith that contradicts the Quran, and then he has rejected the Sunnah. That's not right. This brother right. So they got the community divided. So scholars agree that the book of hadiths contains a lot of weak and fabricated hadiths. Recently, Sheikh Salman, king of Saudi Arabia, issued a decree to appoint a committee consisting of scholars from all over the world to scrutinize the sayings and the practices of Prophet Muhammad contained in the hadith books to curb extremism. Saudi scholars to vet the teaching of Prophet Muhammad to curb extremism. You know, they actually got him out there right now. This is descendant of Ibn Saud, the brother that honored our Prophet Noble Drew Ali with his high name. Yeah, you doing the right thing. You doing the right thing. Scrutinize them hadiths. Anybody that's over there living by them, you know, they need to be locked up because they lying on Prophet Muhammad and they went against the law of Allah. They deserve whatever they got coming to them. It says, here are some beliefs and practices in Muslim communities in countries which are non-existent in the Quran but originate from books of hadith and scholars' interpretation. Look at that. Do you hear that? Non-existent in the Quran. And these are their interpretation. Killing of apostates. So-called blasphemy law. Stoning to death for adultery. But most women are victims. Muda and Misra marriages, which are preconditioned temporary marriages. Shorten prayers while on vacation and pleasure trip, despite God's clear commandment to shorten the prayer only if there's fear of attack from the enemies. Remember, I was telling y'all about that. Sectarian violence, sex with slave girls and female war captives without marriage. None of this stuff is in the Quran. Forced conversion, jizya from non-Muslim citizens, triple talaq, and go to so-called halal, drinking camel urine, cures diseases. None of that is in the Quran. Prophet Muhammad married Aisha when she was 6 years old and consummated the marriage when she was 9 years. See, there you go right there, brother Born Dog. None of this is in the Quran. Prophet Muhammad had concubine. None of that is in the Quran. A woman could breastfeed any adult man, non-mahram, at least 5 times to make him mahram. And many more. You know what I mean? So it said, regarding the hadith narrative that the prophet had forbidden to write anything other than the Quran, some people claim in the comments that the prophet had initially prevented the writing so that it did not mix with the Quran, but later approved it. That's an unsubstantiated claim because the prophet himself verified and authenticated the Quran after the scribes wrote it, and he left a completed copy of the Quran which was memorized by many. So there is no way that anything could get mixed up with the Quran whatsoever. If the prophet had wanted the hadith to be written, he would have followed the same procedure. His scribes would have written the hadith, and he would have verified, authenticated, and left a complete copy of hadith like the Quran. The steps of prayer are exclusively described in the books of hadith, according to some commentators. Therefore, how can you pray if you don't follow hadith? That's what they tried to ask me, that foolish. I told them, the Quran said how you pray. But it says in actuality, they did not even learn to pray through reading the volumes of hadith because it's not possible. You need somebody to demonstrate the postures of prayer to you. Regarding this, please read my response and follow the link. And also, a lot of people don't know, Muhammad taught them how to pray before the hadith was revealed. So they already was doing it. You liars. Man, this stuff make you mad right here, man. It's right here. They act just like some of these people that I be presenting evidence to, Born Dog. And I put all the information out there. They still be like, Commission, you need to show me a source. Fool, don't you see the source right here on the screen? You looking at it right here. You can tell them the name, the book that it come out of. Oh, that's not a source. You don't know what a source is. I done got crunk up over here, man. I'm sorry, y'all, but it's just this is ignorance. So it says the hadith and the sunnah are fabrications attributed to the prophet and condemned by God in the Quran. Hadith and sunnah, fabrications by that prophet's enemies. We are permitted the enemies for every prophet and human jinn, brother quoting that Quran on their behind, to inspire each other's fancy words, hadith, in order to deceive. Had your Lord willed, they would have not done it. You shall disregard them in their fabrication. Hadith. This is to let the minds of those who do not believe in the hereafter listen to such fabrications and accept them, and thus expose their real convictions. So the hadith is really a text, just like that magic that was brought down by Harut and Marut. Surah 6, Ayat 114. Shall I seek other than God as a source of law when he has revealed to you this book fully detailed? Those who receive the scripture recognize that it has been revealed from your Lord truthfully. You should not harbor any doubt. 6, Ayat 115. The word of your Lord is complete in truth and justice. Nothing shall abrogate his words. Nothing can replace the words of Allah. He is the hearer and the omniscient. 6:19. Say whose testimony is the greatest? Say Allah's. He is the witness between me and you that this Quran has been inspired to me to preach it to you. Whomever it reaches, indeed you bear witness that there are other gods beside God. Say I do not testify as you do, and there's only one God, and I disown your idolatry. Then it says 31:6. Among the people there are those who uphold baseless hadith and thus divert others from the path of God without knowledge and take it in vain. These have incurred a shameful retribution. This is the Quran right here. Who them people that's upholding the basis of Hadith? Like I say, the unbelievers are the Kafirs. They never take that challenge to create no book. These hypocrites that were calling themselves Muslims tried to challenge Allah and write a book of Hadith. So what that tell you? It says 7 Ayat 185. Have they not looked at the dominion of the heavens and the earth and all things God has created? That has ever occurred to them the end of their life may be near? Which hadith beside this do they believe in? The Quran makes it clear in the above verses and many more verses throughout the Quran that we should not uphold these fabrications. The hadith consists of volumes upon volumes of hadith which are contradictory and blasphemous. May God guide all to the true believers from the darkness in the light. Peace. So, I ain't even got to go no further than that. But just for the sake of it, we'll go right here on Umar's ban on hadith. Some recorded historical tradition among the Muslims is about Umar, the second caliph of the Rashidun Caliphate, who ruled from 634 to 644 CE, and his ban on hadith. Although the narration is prominently quoted and referred to, it is not given any formal name, in contrast to other hadiths such as the hadith of Pan Kum or the hadith of the Quran and Sunnah. It says, Introduction. During Umar's reign as a caliph, hadith were not being narrated by the people. Many sources state that it was Umar himself who was the first person to ban hadith. Certainly during his rule, Umar strictly followed the policy of banning the hadith. It says, and prohibiting reporting and transmission of hadith altogether. Whenever he sent a group to a city, he would prohibit them from narrating hadith. This banning continued to through the caliphate of the Rashidun caliphs until the Umayyad period, and did not cease until the period of Umar ibn al-Aziz, who ruled from 771 to 720 CE. So Umar, rightly guided caliph, was banning hadith his whole term. It says Muslims view this hadith as notable and important on several occasions. Several prominent persons are mentioned in the hadith and several controversial issues are dealt with. And this is by Muhammad Hussein Hakal. Umar ibn al-Kitab once tried to deal with the problem of committing hadith to write. The companions of the Prophet whom he consulted encouraged him, but he was not quite sure whether he should proceed. One day, moved by God's inspiration, he made up his mind and announced, I wanted to have the traditions of the Prophet written down, but I fear that the book of God might be encroached upon. So Umar had the same feeling that Muhammad had, that if you write these books, it's going to cause some beefing going on. Hence, I shall not permit this to happen. He therefore changed his mind and instructed the Muslims throughout the provinces, where whoever has a document bearing prophetic tradition shall destroy it. The hadith therefore continued to be transmitted orally and was not collected and written down, it says, into the period of Al-Mahmun. Dr. Muhammad Hamdullah. It says Abd-Dahabi reports the Caliph Abu Bakr, which is another honored caliph, compiled a work in which there were 500 traditions of the Prophet and handed it over to his daughter Aisha. The next morning he took it back from her and he destroyed it, saying, I wrote what I understood. It is possible, however, that there should be certain things in that in which did not correspond textually with what the Prophet had uttered. As to Umar, we learn on the authority of Muhammad ibn Rashid that during his caliphate under Umar, once consulted the companions of the Prophet on the subject of codifying hadith. Everybody seconded the idea, yet Umar continued to hesitate and to pray to God for a whole month for guidance and enlightenment. Ultimately, he decided not to undertake the task and said former people neglected divine books and concentrated only on the conduct of the prophets. I do not want to set up the possibility of confusion between the divine Quran and the prophet's Hadith. You see what I'm saying? Like, come on, bro. We can go on and on and on with this stuff. You see? So I mean, we really don't have to go no far beyond that. We see where that nonsense coming from. I don't buy it. I ain't going with it. And a lot of these people is straight hypocrites. You know, they're hypocrites. You see? So that's what we got to do. We got to look at the fact in dealing with the Quran itself. Like I said, there's a lot of stuff in the Quran that's scientifically proven. I'm gonna show you something right here. So people are always talking about don't mention science and religion at the same time. Well, this your boy them, it's Cedric and them favorite website right here. Right here. Let's see what they're talking about in here. Right there. In the International Journal of Health Sciences, Human Embryology, and the Holy Quran, an overview. Man's quest to know about his origin led him to search his roots, and the best source for him has been religious scriptures. The greatest miracle is the Holy Quran. There is an elegant description of the origin, development, step-by-step development stages of uterine life of the Quran. In the Quran, Muslims had this knowledge in the 7th century. And the Prophet Muhammad's hadith sayings, deeds, approvals narrated by authentic narrators. We already went in that. We ain't finna go there. It says, had explained almost everything about the natal, even postnatal events. These findings, once presented to experts in the field of anatomy and embryology, surprised them. It said they believed that the knowledge given to Prophet Muhammad was indeed divine. Who else would provide this knowledge to the Prophet Muhammad except the Creator himself? Meaning he couldn't know this stuff. This is in a scientific journal, people. Uh-oh. I bet if you showed them this right, see, this will kill them right here. The same scientific journal that they try to use to go against the Quran, telling you that this had to come from the Creator himself. Modern embryology is a fairly recent development, which has its beginning with the invention of the microscope in the 17th century. However, the concept of human being developing in stages was not recognized until much later. But the scientists then, and most Muslim and non-Muslim scholars, do not even know that the Holy Quran and Sunnah words, deeds, and proofs of Muhammad collected by authentic narratives have provided a detailed description of the significant events in the development from the stages of the gementes, the conception, into the full-term pregnancy and the delivery, even postpartum. Actually, information in the Quran and Hadith corrected many superstitions and vague ideas about human development that were prevalent before. So the Quran actually corrected what they was talking about. And so it talks about, since eternity, man has always wanted to understand the probe into the secrets of nature and how when creation began its purpose in this world, this inquisitive man sought to help civilization, nature, old manuscripts, and sometimes even the prophecies of saints and above all religions. Aristotle thought that the fetus was formed in the uterus. It says from a coagulum of blood and the seed from menstrual blood. Greeks and Europeans, they thought that the fetus was created from menstrual blood, or else they thought that the fetus fully created and it was in a mature form in the sperm or in the ovary. It says in the 1604, Fabricus came out with excellent drawings of the chick embryo. Malficki in 1672, who was considered a father of modern embryology, thought poetry eggs contained a miniature chick, and the others thought that the human being was fully formed in the sperm or ovum. They shot you out a whole man or woman. That had to hurt. It says he came out with the chick drawing showing clear somites in the 1673. Leeuwenhoek invented the first microscope. Hart Soekers drawing of the human spermatozoa in 1694 clearly had this impression that fully formed the homonucleus human form was formed in the spermatozoa or an ovum. 1775, this controversy ended when Spallanzani showed the necessity of both the ovum and the sperm for the development of a new individual. It was the 19th century that the development cycle of the mammalian ovum was discovered. The writings of von Baer, Darwin, Haeckel introduced the phase of experimental embryology. The second phase, called the stage of mechanism, started in the 19th century, and scientists found the chemical mechanism for development by Otto Warburg. Ross Harrison introduced the technique of in vitro cell culture. Frank Lilly, investigated the mechanism by which the egg was fertilized by the spermatozoa, and finally Hans Sperman gave us the mechanism of the tissue interaction. The third, or the most modern phase, started from 1940 to the present day. The present stage may be aptly called the stage of instrumentation. It says we had electron microscope, sophisticated imaging tools, ultracentrifuge, spectrographometers. It says, and the list is very long. It says, thus we study the role of nucleus, cytoplasm, cell hybridization, nuclear transplants, and gene cloning, and other techniques. Homo nucleus. Now we are at a stage where we can look at the embryos with clarity, unimaginable, during Malfighi's time. It says, and we have artificial reproductive technology, the choice of gift, ZIFT, ICSI, and we have even a choice of designer babies. We have frozen embryos, a prospect of having minimum 5 parents for a child conceived with art technique. We can see in the future a woman giving birth to, it say in essence, to herself, to her sister, or even her mother. It says, thanks to cloning, yes, we came a long way, but with the help of modern sophisticated techniques. But my aim is to take the present day person, it says, to Arabia, 7th century, when prophethood was bestowed to the most loved person in Islam, Prophet Muhammad. Imagine Arabia in the 7th century. Arabs living in the deserts were wanderers and camel herders, and they had no interest in inventions and discoveries except making gauntlets and sharpening swords to wage wars. Only a few affluent families were traders. In that surroundings, we do not expect someone who have a high-tech lab, it says, or for that matter, studying abortion specimens, to inform mankind about the various stages of the uterine life. Prophet Muhammad was illiterate, had no formal education, and it was through him that the Muslim scholars had knowledge about conception, morphology, various phases of the intrauterine life, it says, which modern day scientists came to know only a few decades back. In the Quran, there's a reference to various stages of human development in many chapters. It is not possible here to mention and explain them all. I have selected 2 for reference to this brief communication. Quran, Surah Al-Mu'min, 23. We, Allah, created man from a quintessence of clay, and we placed him as a nutufa, a drop, in a place of settlement firmly fixed. And we made the drop into an alaq, which is a leech-like structure. And then we changed the alaq into a mugah, a tube-like substance. And then we made out of that mugah, eisen, skeleton, bones. Then we clothed the bones with laham, muscles, flesh. And then we caused them to grow and come into being and attain the definitive human form. So blessed be God. It says blessed to create, the best to create, God the best to create. So if we arrange these stages chronologically, we might come up with something like this. The Natufa, which is Amshad, the drop that is mixed. This stage covers the period from fertilization to implantation. It says this stage is further divided into the present day germinal stage, Kalak, Takdir, and Heart. Taklik, the present day embryonic. This stage extends from the beginning of the 3rd week until up in the 8th week and covers the developmental events. This stage is further divided into alaq, the leech-like, amutgah, the somites. It says ezam, the skeleton, leham, muscles, nasa, growth, the present day photo stage. During this period, the shaping and modeling are active, and external appearance develop in such a way that the fetus becomes recognizably human. It lasts to the completion of pregnancy. It is further divided into a Nasha Kalakna, Kalaka, pardon self, from the 9 to 26 weeks, and Al Hadana and Ramia from 26 weeks was a full term to a full term. This could be apt and an apt way of classifying the various stages of human development. So it's basically showing you, all these stages again. They showing you the pictures of them. How this thing was placed in a fixed place, which is the uterus. Then it goes on. It talks about the angel entering the conceptions of Nutufa, and it rests on the uterus for 45 nights, narrated by Muslim. But it goes on, family, explaining all of this stuff stage by stage, which is exactly how it came to be known once the scientists got the information. While the Greeks and everybody else were guessing, Muhammad had already got the revelation of how it took place. Now you tell me, if Muhammad was illiterate, for one, how would Muhammad have this in a book to reveal this information way back then, telling you exactly how the fetus evolved? How would Muhammad have this knowledge? It's other things too, like the invisible barrier in the water in the Atlantic. There's no hadith that say Muhammad ever went to the Atlantic Ocean. In West Africa, nowhere. So how would he know that the Gibraltar Silk existed over there, the two barriers, one that divide fresh water and salt water? Please, where they don't mix. How would Muhammad have the knowledge, family? How would Muhammad have the knowledge on how the Quran tell you that the cosmos came into existence? How, people? There are other books outside of the Quran that don't even explain this right here. So they can't say they took this from the Bible, since they like to say the Quran was taken from the Bible. Show me in the Bible where the Most High give this type of detail right here to the growth of the baby in the womb. Every last stage by stage. Show me. Unless you're going to say Muhammad cut the womb out, or Muhammad cut a woman open at every different stage when this was developing. Ain't no hadith that say that. This is the proof that this thing had to come from somebody that was a source greater. Because this information is correct, and it predated all the instruments that they're using right now that have confirmed what was there. Now let me go back to my audience over here. What you think about that there, Brother Bond, dog? What y'all think about that? I mean, let's just be honest about it. Whether you like Islam or you don't like Islam, what do we have to say? It's coming from a scientific measure now. How could Muhammad have this knowledge unless he had to cut a woman open to see it? And I'm pretty sure if they recorded, they would have said Muhammad cut the women open. Hold up. Let me do this again. I told y'all this is an open discussion right here now. So we really discussing everything. There we go right there. And I want to make a very important statement. Because we had some ignoramuses, in my last drawing when I was building with the brothers on Sarnetta, when I went at that one that was over there calling itself Adamasri, the Egyptian, when I whooped him up over there, him and Morpheus. We had some people in there. He say the Quran revealed in Alabama. No, what happened is I have knowledge of two Qurans. And in speaking, I meant Birmingham. You see, that was dealing with the UK. But I'm going to show you why I said, the Alabama, because it was still Birmingham. I'm going to show you something. And it just came out that way. But they were trying to, that just goes to show you that people be trying to find a one up. They just want commission to say something that they can deem wrong. They ain't listen to the information you say. And both of them was ancient Quran. See this right here, family? I was referring to the actual Quran that was found, in Birmingham. But, cross information basically because I was quoting it off the head and pulling it, I made that statement. But anyway, there was a Quran that was there at this time too. And this is an old Quran that was written, that was stolen from Alabama. The university too. That was next to that area. They had a university over there. This one right, they burglarized the mosque in this particular area here. And basically they had stole, this particular Quran. Here it is right here. And if you look at it, they say it was a very ancient Quran. It was a very important book. See, a very valuable Quran was taken. It was a historical relic. Somebody broke in. And see, it said right here, located near the University of Alabama. So when I said what I said, I knew exactly what I was talking about, but, I tied my information into the other information, which is this is what I was talking about right here. When I say the oldest Quran was found in Birmingham, and I just added the Alabama cross into that measure. I'll show you right here. I know what I'm talking about. I don't just talk to say something out the side of my neck, but I'm a human. So I'm fallible to slip and say something, but I wasn't wrong in what I said. So this is what I was referring to right here. The Birmingham Quran manuscript is one of the earliest surviving fragments of the Quran. And this is showing proof. This actually exists from the time that Muhammad had lived. Because people always tell me, show me a manuscript. This is an actual piece, coming from that old Quran. It's written in the old Arabic and everything, family. This is the oldest copy, a portion coming from the Quran right here. And this says it's a part of the M.A.N collection of 3,000 Middle Eastern manuscripts cared for by Cabot Research Library in the University of Birmingham. In the UK, the Birmingham Quran manuscript contained parts of surahs 18 and 20 in the Islamic holy book, written on parchment in the early Arabic script known as Hijazi, not Fusa, as the brother Morpheus keep hollering. It's Fusa. The Quran is written in Fusa. No, brother. No. You see what I'm saying? And when I found the article, it was written in the New York Times, but they didn't show it then. It was in the New York Times version I had seen it in. But that one right there was showing it. They actually got videos on YouTube about this stuff, family. And I don't want to go into it and close it. I mean, you know what? I don't care. If they strike me, they strike me. I'm trying not to get struck. But, this is, y'all, you can go and look it up, family. The University of Birmingham. Because they just struck me last night about the Curtis Mayfield song that I played. When I was letting y'all see the government stuff. Well, not last night, but the night before last. So if you want to go look at this here, you see it right here, family. Quran portion that exists, from the time of Muhammad. So now that we passed that right there, like I said, yeah, I agree with you, born dog. My mind said do it, just go on buck, but I said no, I ain't gonna do it. Because they already acting crazy. So but it's just stuff like that people try to make something out of nothing. So that's it right there. It's a bunch of Bedouin Arabs and hypocrites running around here talking about they Muslims, but they ain't Muslims, man. They lying on Prophet Muhammad, and that's why they catching hell right now. So now that has been stated, like I said, any other questions that our audience want to ask, I dropped the link in there too, so that our family can jump on here. If they want to ask some questions about anything that was said, or whatever the case may be. There we go again. If not, I'm gonna go back into some of the bill that I was dealing with recently. We're gonna get a little bit more into some of the document we was talking about dealing with the cell salt, and the Dendera or the plane sphere of Iunet. So no other question. Yeah, born dog. You see though, it's a lot of hatred out there when it comes with this information. We got a lot of people that just, I don't know what's wrong with them, man. But I know I ain't finna keep going back and forth just for the sake of going back and forth when we got information right here to show you what it is. Some people just they gonna believe what they want to believe. They don't want to hear nothing, that's being said outside of the narrative being spawned. You know what I mean? So some people just act crazy. But yeah, that's enough right there in and of itself to let you know the origin of the Quran, to also let you know how many, different things that have been invented outside of the Quran. And the Quran is just another book of guidance. Just there are many other books. I don't just have the Quran over here. I got the Bhagavad Gita over here. I got the other Bible over here. A lot of people don't even know what that is. Other Bible got portions of a whole bunch of books that was took out of it. The book of Adam and Eve, the book of Abraham, the book of Thomas, the gospel of this, and goodness gracious. So my question is then, when I got all them books, I'm like, well, who told them to take them books out the Bible? Who gave them the authority to do it if they was there? You see what I'm saying? That book, they're 30 years old. My mama brought that one for me a long time ago. I had to get it for me. So yeah, I got the I Ching up here. The teachings of Confucianism. What they call the Tibetan Book of the Dead. Man, what else I got over here? Man, I got so many different religious texts over here. It's crazy. I got a bunch of esoteric material over here, which y'all see a lot of that now. I actually had a God, man, the Word made flesh over here. Yeah, I agree with you, bro. Because a lot of time when we be done had the conversation on some of this stuff, you can tell that they wasn't listening. Like I went up there and did a couple of presentations and people still coming back. They liked the presentation when it was presented, but then they come back later and attack the same thing that they was accepting before. So it don't make no sense. I'm like, what in the world? So yeah, that's why I'm over here. I'm here to bring clarity for people that want to get some real understanding with all the going back and forth. We'll let somebody come up in here who disagree, but all we say is when you come up in here, you got to source up. You can't come up in here and just go to running your mouth, on your opinion. You can get away with that. No, you ain't coming up in here doing that. You know what I mean? You're going to have to do like Sarnetta say, source up or shut up. Come on up in here, put it out here. If you saying a thing, not just coming up here rambling on, and thinking you doing something with not saying that. That don't make sense. Anything that I say out my mouth, you can believe I got something to back it up with. And anybody that know me, that done know me a little while, they know that I don't never say nothing that I don't pull sources up. And that's why these dudes scared to get in the ring. Because they used to just talking. And then everybody listening to what they saying. You see what I'm saying? Y'all get up here talking. And then, everybody entertained. But they ain't showing you nothing. You see what I'm saying? Reggie famous for that. Get up here running his mouth on stuff that I'm building on and never say nothing with the information to rebut it. He just going off of the way he feel. I got nothing against the brother. But that's just his opinion. My thing is, I'm saying anybody, if you come against me with information. Don't come against me with no opinion when I done put 50, 60 sources up here showing you what I'm saying. You see? And I think it's bad for the audience, because if y'all got to listen to this stuff, and then y'all ain't getting nothing out of it, like, what's the purpose? I feel like it's assault on the consciousness of our people to get up there and mud slang for the sake of mud slanging, and ain't nobody came to no conclusion. Ain't nobody built nobody up. Nobody said, all right, brother, we agree to disagree. Yeah, you right, I'm wrong. It don't make no sense. And that's why we can't come together. So when people like me come on the manifest, I'm trying to unite us. I'm transparent with the information, though. The same way I'm getting at these Arabs, I get at the Moors. That ain't acting right neither. That's the difference between me and most people. They try to get at everybody else, but then they try to make it look like they little demonstration squeaky clean. No. Commission demonstrate like this all the way around the board. But that's the nature of me being under the sign that I'm under. They like to call it a Libra scale, but in my particular measure, Ma'at, we call it Ma'atic scale, comedically. That's right. It's some Moors that I don't deal with either, brother. We call them dirty Moors. And you seen the one I put up. There's a couple of them, because some of them ain't Moors at all, though. I know some Moors right now running around talking about they Moors, and they don't even honor Prophet Noble Drew Ali. But they want to use his teaching to do what they want to do. So it ain't no different than the Arab. They hypocrites too. But what I do look at is this. In every one of these bodies and communities, we got some good people in them. That's sincere about what they believe in. And it's some people that want to see our people together. And that's people that's following, the Quran. You got people following the Moorish teaching. You got people following the 5%. You got Nuwabians. You got Hebrews. You got people following the teachings of Kemet. All the way around the board is good people and bad people in all of these different bodies, family. My only concern is that all of the good people come together and sit down and leave them other people where they are. Let them do what they're doing. The people that want to unite, we need to be having a conversation. We need to be on these platforms showing our people that we can build without cursing each other out, even if we disagree on certain things. We agree on unity. You know what I mean? That's the type of conversation we need. Because if y'all didn't know it, I love our brother Kaba Kameni. I was looking at a measure he was demonstrating. They just put out last night about the Moors. He was demonstrating on the Moors. And the brother said something. He said, I studied our people. He said, and everywhere that I noticed, and all the time throughout every era of history, the only reason that we was able to be conquered is because we was at odds with each other. We was already at odds with each other, so we was able to be conquered. We was fighting each other, tooth and nail. Crazy, family. Insanity. So, man, all I can say, man, is we got to get it together. We got to get it together. Yeah. So let me do this real quick, cause I gotta go grab something in a second. So I'm gonna share this right here while I go grab this. Let y'all see my chairman draw real quick. I'll be right back, because I want to go into them documents, some more of that information dealing with ourselves, and here's some of y'all questions on that. Questions dealing with the God, man, the Word made flesh. Okay. because this information is very important too, family. This information is very important. Okay, here we go right here. And I also want to show you the measure too on another question you asked earlier, Bond Dog. I ain't forgot about you on that one either. Concerning, the native roots in your family in general. Okay, so I'm gonna let y'all see this real quick. Let me make sure this thing sharing sound. Cause I know how it be. It don't me want to share sound sometimes. Okay, so here we go right here. This is on our government website. And I'll be right back.
We are sealing this interest. And within 24 hours, he came out through the paws of the Sphinx.
So obviously,
And they knew.
Many people assume that all Muslims are terrorists. That couldn't be furthest from the truth. We hope this 13-part series will educate, inform, and do other things for our viewers on Al-Islam. There are many different sects in Islam, just as there are many denominations in Christianity. For example, I'm a Sunni Muslim, which means I practice Islam daily. Today, our guest is When did you first become interested in doing something scholarly on Noble Drew Ali?
Well, that was my origin. This back in 1969 in the Moorish Science Temple. And I was educated by Dr. R. Bey, who was himself taught by Noble Drew Ali. And from that point on, my heart became full of knowledge and a lot of answers as to what was the cause of the problem with our people. I could not understand that. I came up during a time when in the 40s we were colored, and in the 50s people were Negroes. And it was a heck of a thing. By the time the 60 rolled in, everybody turned black on you all of a sudden, you see. So that right there triggered off a lot of questions, and no one had answers, you see.
Okay. Now, could you tell our listening audience how Noble Drew Ali came upon Al Islam?
Well, to make a short story sweet, uh, Noble Drew Ali was born in 1886 in the state of North Carolina, meaning that he was born under the constitutional laws of the 14th Amendment of the United States in the state of Carolina. That was in January 8th, 1886. By the time he reached the age of 16, he had joined with a traveling circus, if you will, of gypsies, and ended up in Egypt at the early age of 16. Well, to find a American Negro boy at 16 years of age in Egypt, this was almost unprecedented, unheard of,
Unheard of.
you know. And he was there for about 10 years. During this time, they put him into one of the Great Pyramids. And they told him that, well, you find your way out. You can't come out this way. It's certain death. But you find your way out, there's only one other way out. We are sealing this entrance. And within 24 hours, he came out through the paws of the Sphinx.
So obviously,
And
he
they knew that
found
he
his
was
way
worthy
out.
of the teachings.
Yes.
So 10 years later, after undergoing many of the Eastern teachings and given the true history of our people, as well as himself, he then made his Hajj to the holy city. And he received the name of Sharif Abdul Ali, which means interpreted to the anointed one. And that's where he got the Ali from, and the Sharif too, for that matter. But more importantly, the Sultan Saad of the royal family anointed him and appointed him the one to bring Islam to the West. He was the first person to be authorized to bring Islam to the United States. Okay. And this was in 1913. Prior to that, Islam was forbidden here in the United States. If you brought a Quran in off the ship, you had to either throw it overboard, declare it at the port of authority, or whatever. You were not allowed to practice Islam even from the time of slavery right on up. It was just taboo.
So, Dr. Bay, how have your book been received by the public?
Very warmly, very warmly. There was one judge who was a chief judge down in Memphis, Tennessee, uh, Judge Higgs. He got his copy, and he said he would have gladly paid $10,000 for the content of the book. It meant just that much to him. And I have received nothing but a lot of great reviews world over. The copies of my book is in Germany, Japan, and other countries, as well as the United States, throughout virtually every state, and a lot of prisons.
Now, I noticed that your book harps on nationality real strong. So, why is it so important that Blacks or African Americans connect with this nationality theme in your book?
Oh, Brother Bilal, let me tell you the real horror story. I hope you're ready for this because a lot of people
Yes.
don't know. Okay. I found out, and this is what my book is really dedicated to. Noble Drew Ali came to let us know as a people that we are, in fact, a nation of people. Well, this is something that's unheard of also because Negroes can never make a nation. Colored people don't make nations. Uh, Black people can't get along, and African American can't stand neither one of the three. Okay, so this is to say that the whole Willie Lynch theory is in full effect. Our people was declared as property under the 3/5 clause of the United States Constitution early on in Article 1. The Western Freemasons that founded the United States, the European Masons, George Washington, Thomas Jefferson, and the like, they declared us as 3/5 of a person. And then they attached the name of who were formerly African nationals. There was governments and kingdoms and countries all up and down the West Coast and Southwest, North and Southwest Africa that this people was taken from. Well, once they was broken, the will was broken, and it was brought here, and they were called slaves. Then they were given slave names. Well, once you got a dog in your yard on your chain eating your food, you call them what you want to, Butch, Spot,
Absolutely.
Fido, and so
Yes.
that's what they did. They called their property what they wanted to, Negroes, black, colored. But these are not national identities. There's no such thing as a colored land or a Negro flag or none of that stuff. Okay.
So what, in essence, what you're saying is that there has been some serious consequences in regards to African Americans or blacks or Negroes or colored in regards to their nationality being taken from them.
Consequences is an understatement. In fact, um, to tell you the truth, Drew Ali, he asked a question and says, in reality, what is a Negro? He said a Negro is a full-legged animal. This picture right here, I have on my website, www.7sealspublications.com. And what it does, it shows you a beast. It's a man, maybe. No, you never ask the question who when you see this picture, do you? So
That
the
is
ugly looking thing,
horrible.
ain't it?
That is
It
horrible.
make you wonder, don't it?
Yes, sir.
Well, that's the same thing other nations say about the Negro to this day. What is wrong with you? Where'd you come from? What's wrong? Why don't you belong somewhere? Okay? Because Negroes is not an identity. Okay? All Negroes, African American and blacks, are a man-made people. God never made no black people. You can't find no Negroes in Africa to this day. There's no Negro land, no colored land.
But
Okay?
for a people in this here country to band together and try to find something, some substance in terms of nationality, how would we go about that? How do we bring the Crips and the Bloods together and let them know that nationality is important? How do we bridge that gap?
Well, for one thing, you have to show them the importance of what it is that they do not have. Give them everything. For example, the Crips, the Blood, we've got, they're all over the country in different organizations and entities throughout every urban area. But the truth of the matter is, who turf do they really own?
It's
Okay,
not
they have no
theirs.
sovereign power at all. They don't own a thing. Okay, no Negro own anything, and Katrina is a good example of that. Okay,
Absolutely.
they own nothing. They will quickly call you an alien. No, what was the word they called people in Katrina?
Refugees,
Refugees.
the
Okay, well, a
refugees.
refugee is an alien.
Yes.
Okay, you're not talking about someone indigenous to the land. All right. Well, the Bloods and Crips, what they've got to learn, as well as all other uh, groups, organizations, from the NAACP, the Morris Science Temple, it doesn't matter where you are. You've got to come together and realize one thing: without a proper identity and a nation, you're nothing.
Well, how do we as a people get that identity? How do we get that nationality? Of course, when you try to leave the United States of America, you have to have a passport, and the passport designates you a nationality. You are an American. So, how do we go about that?
Well, that's a false image. For example, the 14th Amendment declared all persons born or naturalized are subject to the jurisdiction are hereby citizens. So all Negroes assume that we's free. We citizens now, master, right? Nothing can be further from the truth. You can't make a Negro into a citizen. Read the Dred Scott decision.
Three
Okay,
fifths.
it just is, it's not there. They do not have the criteria to muster those ingredients that it takes to be a citizen. You must first of all, to be a citizen, you got to have a national origin. Okay, so to say that we are more American means that we are connecting ourselves with the roots of our forefathers and our indigenous status in our present concern. So this is our true identity, not just here, but throughout the Atlantic Islands, Central America, Canada, everywhere. Okay.
Now, for our listening audience, could you give us an operational definition of Moors? Moorish.
Yeah, Moors, actually, you want to go back to the ancient Moabites, which, in other words, you probably know it better as dealing with the land of Moor, Lemuria, before the great earthquake.
And where is that
That
situated
separated
at?
the great continental divide, as we call it. In Christianity, they call it the flood.
The flood.
Well, the flood is sort of off timetable, sort of off balance a little bit there, okay? Because if they had a flood and the pyramids was built then, but none of them ever got wet, sort of hard to explain that kind of a flood. So, but it's actually a symbolic thing to go back to the great continental divide, the great earthquake that separated the seven seas or the seven continents. Okay. And
Okay.
we're going back to that part, which means that we're talking about the fall of man, when man fell from his conscious state, where his will was very much in harmony with the will of the universal order of things.
Okay.
Okay.
But now the word Moorish,
More,
Moor,
more,
Moor, which was an
like
area,
Lemuria,
La Moria, which was an area where
in the first civilization.
in the first
Right.
civilization.
When we first decided we want to occupy and inhabit this planet,
On what continent?
the whole thing
The
was
whole thing.
the whole thing. Yeah,
Well,
it was known as Asia,
okay.
the entire
Okay.
landmass, which means earthbound. Okay, but we could at that time we was more God than human, so we could go and come back, go and travel at will. See, there's 3/5 to all people that's created. Okay, you got the spirit, the soul, and the body. But then you have your nationality and you have your divine creed. Those are the 5/5 together. The last two were the things they took away: your nationality and your divine creed.
Okay. Now I know also with this in nationality is connected a sovereignty. Now could you explain that?
You hear that word a lot around here lately. A sovereignty is the power that a government has or a country has to rule itself, to be independent, and to supply its own will. The You can have individual sovereignty, which is sort of personal. With, for example, the garment that you have on, you claim sovereign powers over
Absolutely.
your the dress, the garment that you have on.
Yes.
Okay, well that's a common sense of sovereign power. But if you want to look at it from a government point of view, a standpoint, or a nation, then your sovereignty is who it is that have jurisdiction over you. Okay, your constitution, your charter, your flags. That we have the flags here. Um, those things that come together to formulate a government or a nation, then that has sovereign power. And you can change citizenship underneath that power. For
Okay.
example, you may be from Ghana, I may be from Hungary somewhere, but if we decide both to take our citizenship in China, then the sovereignty that China has it has the power to let us join that citizenship.
Okay.
That's sovereign power.
So now we have a nationality and we have sovereignty. So where do we go from there?
Becoming a nation of people. For one thing, we are as a people, and there's 60 million of us here. 60 million. Okay. If you want to look at it from a technical point of view, we got 11 million single moms.
So now, if I'm thinking right, this here sovereignty is not necessarily uh, control over any physical land, but control over the mind and the hearts and the way you treat yourself.
No, sovereignty is best kept at the power of the land. It's best to
Okay.
kept that way because it's understood more greater. Uh, when you talk about sovereignty of the mind, that's a whole nother level. That's another.
Okay.
You talk about
So,
resurrection, and that's another ball game.
so my next question: sovereignty over what land? Where?
Okay.
Yes.
For one thing, Drew Ali said, and this who's in honor of this great occasion, Drew Ali said that we were home. We don't have to go nowhere. If anything, it's the Europeans themselves that's 300 miles from home, 3,000 miles from home, that is, and it has to tread some water. But what we're mostly concerned is the fact that our forefathers are the first ones to inhabit and civilize this continent where we now, right here. In fact, California was named after one of the Moorish queens from days back in the day. Okay, so Juali said that the earth mounds that's all up and down the Mississippi,
Right.
the basalt heads that's found throughout Mexico, along with the ascots and the pyramids and everything. We've been here, you
So
know.
so now,
So we actually own the land.
right. So we buy a bunch of land.
No,
No, it's
no.
given to us, or we take it. Which one?
Have you? You say take it. Do you know what you look like with a cap pistol standing in the middle of a missile silo? So you ain't taking
Very
jack,
strange.
right?
Very strange.
No, quite the contrary. The land is yours by inheritance. Okay, your forefathers actually occupied and left their symbols here for you to gain by. But if you don't come as a people, then you can't. For example, you got like the Pequot tribe up in Connecticut.
Yes.
They have the world's largest casino, up the Fox, whatever. Well, there's only about 500 of them, yet they're a nation of people. Okay,
It's true.
but it's only they will pay you $1 million and give you a home and everything if you could prove you got some Pequot blood in you. I think I better check my record. But anyway, the that is to say that if you can get that much, and the United States have to acknowledge all sovereignties of every national. In other words, you got the the Seminoles. Okay, they received reparations. Many other people have received reparations once they under their own true free national name. Okay, that's the only way they can get it. The Seminoles, since I'm speaking about them, they had received the reparations, but just for the United States gave it to us. So wait a minute, they happened to look down the list and saw some black Seminoles there.
Yes.
And
This
the
was
United
down in
States know
Florida.
that they make all black people. So wait a minute, said no, we can't give you no money, no land for that. Said because there was no black Seminoles amongst you when we took over what we did some wrong to you. So they had to get rid of the black Seminoles out from out of the entire Seminole nation, and then they got the reparation.
Okay. Now,
Because the blacks are only made right here in the United States.
yes, I know that in the prisons of America, that the Moorish Science Temple is making some inroads. Um, what is it that prisoners need to do to try to fight for some sovereignty behind the walls?
Well, for one thing, I want to answer that question in a twofold manner. First of all, I'm not representing the Moorish Science Temple. I got my
Okay.
teaching there early on. Okay. Right now, I'm representing us, the Moorish America, as a nation of people. There's quite a difference. The Moorish Science Temple is a religious
Okay.
organization that's under the confines of the United States.
Okay.
The Moorish Americans are an independent nation of people. Okay, we came into existence in 1865, so I want to establish that.
Okay.
Now we're going to the prison system. Okay, now as far as the prison and the sovereignty is concerned, look at the 13th Amendment. It says that um, slavery should be abolished except for those who are duly convicted of a crime. Okay, and so everybody assumed, well, yeah, well, great, but the truth of the matter is that you cannot duly convict property of a crime, which is a Negro. That's the name that was given to property. So they abolished this name when you abolish the system of slavery. Out with the slave name, the slave masters, the institution of slavery, the whole nine. It was
Yes.
gone.
Yes.
So what's it doing back in the 14th Amendment under the word person, which means commercial property, according to law?
Right.
Okay. So for those who are on lockdown, and I'm not trying to get the hair up and everything, but the truth of the matter is that all of those brothers and sisters that's on lockdown right now that has not been duly convicted of a crime, they can come out once the Morris government is in place. Okay? Once we become a nation of people, then represent third-party custody, then we can claim our own people, say they belong to us. They have not done no crimes here, give them here.
Okay.
Okay?
Now, who is going to grant this sovereignty?
Grant? The
Or who's
sovereign
going to give or grant, or how are we going to get it?
the key to all sovereignty rests within the people. The people are the sovereignty. So the problem is the reason why we as a people have not acquired sovereignty is because we have not come together as a people.
Okay,
Okay,
coming together as a people.
as a people, bearing one free national name. Negroes and blacks and African Americans, these are not free national names. Our free national name is Moorish American.
Now,
Moorish because
this
of our forefathers, American because of the continent.
this has been an issue that has been within our community. I would say since the time that we got over here, we have been fighting to collectively come together. There has always been one amongst us that has been trying to bring us together as one nation. And you think that, or you feel that the Morris Americans are the one to do that?
Yeah, no nation, for example, uh, every nation on the planet is a one family bearing one free national name. All the people of China have one free national name. They all are called Chinese. Okay, all the people of Egypt are the children of one family. They all have the same free national name. They all are called Egyptian. So our free national name is Moorish American. That's our free national name. We all have the same identity. Okay. Negroes don't have that. African Americans don't have that. Colored people can't have it. You see, all these are subjects of Willie Lynch's greatest idea.
Right. Now, we can say that our history shows us that this is a hard sell amongst us.
Tell me about it.
So how are your efforts going to be different in bringing this into the mass of the African American or the Black community? How is
Well, I'll put it to you this way. Drew Ali said, I have come just before the fire. And when the fire comes, I will be your water. And if you don't get behind me, you won't make it. Okay? Now, by that, he meant this, is that FEMA has ordered 107,000, and they're on the rail, chattel cars. You got over 600 concentration camps here, border to border. Okay? They are not for Mexicans. Who do you think they're for? All right. So what my message is now is to bring to surface the true teaching of Drew Ali that has been kept in secrecy in the different Moorish science temple groups and other places. No one really wanted to know the truth about Drew Ali, but he was the only one that brought the truth to us and to help the United States as well. Okay. So if we don't accept it now and become ourselves, there's only one way out. You must free yourself. As simple as that. No one can free. The United States Emancipation Proclamation couldn't free you. The 13th Amendment couldn't free you. It abolished slavery, but you don't want nobody to have the power to free you because they had the same power to re-enslave you again.
absolutely?
Okay? So what we have to do now, we have to seek freedom is for those people who are seeking it and who know they deserve it. Our people don't seek freedom because they don't know what it's like to be free. They've been so used to being enslaved, they enjoy it. I don't like you. You got something black on your head. I'm gonna find some little difference between me and you
They keep us apart.
that keep us apart. Now, how come I can't love you just because you're Morris American?
Now, very quickly, Dr. Bay, what is your position on reparations?
Oh man, please. Reparation. Um, reparation is a form legally. It is a form of apology from one government that has done a wrong to another government, from one nation that has done something wrong to another nation. It's a form of apology. It may come in the form of money, land, or both. Say, look, I'm sorry what I did, you know. But the key here is that nation. Negroes will never ever get reparations. African American will never get reparations, never, because they do not have reparation status.
Yes,
You can't give reparations to property. No one is give property. What do you owe your dog?
yes,
Here's another bone spot. That's it. Okay.
yes,
So, but reparations, no, that's only given to nations of people that has one family bearing one free national name. The
yes,
Japanese Americans, okay, that was wrongfully, okay, they was given reparations.
yes,
Okay. The Eskimos, they was given reparations.
yeah,
Many other nations by the United States was given reparations. Okay,
You know,
but they have to be a nation first.
I hate to say this here, but we're coming to the close of the show. And very quickly, why should people buy your book? This
My
book
book,
here.
outside of the Great Quran of Muhammad, is
Yes.
called the Book of Fire
Okay.
because it was the last book of truth.
Well, that concludes this year. I want to give thanks to Dr. Pleasant Bay and the guests today. Invite our viewers to continue to watch Islam in America. I want to give thanks to Darrell Smith Bay and the Moorish Science Temple of America, Institution of Missionary number 3. Next.
Yeah, man, our chairman, most definitely make it plain. So this is a grand drawing, grand drawing. Okay, I see our brother in here. He just came in. The pyramid base and length and height gives pi comparing the true value of pi to number is pretty close, but not the same. The pyramid builder was technologically advanced. It says more so than us. If they wanted to exhibit their mathematical expertise, why didn't they just make the number exactly equal to pi? I'm trying to figure out what that got to do with the conversation, but no problem, Mook. I feel you. I got where you're coming from. You know, um, that's a good question. And the good answer is nothing wrong with being speculative. But I think more than anything, we should ask the question. In relation to dealing with that pyramid being built. How is it that it's still standing now in modern science? Still can't find the justification as to why it was created, being the way that it is. And what does that pyramid have to do with you, in your makeup? That would be my question. But what I want to do, I want to go back into some of our other information here that we was touching on concerning part 2, the plane sphere of Iunet. And I'm gonna still keep this open. So instead of going all the way through this, and doing a long drawn out presentation, like I said, I'll be back and forth with our family on this information. And so what I want to touch on first and foremost, I'm gonna share my screen here. Because this is information that can actually help us, you know, um, prep our body, so to speak, for self-healing. When I say that, I'm not talking from the aspect of being no expert and trying to make it look like I'm a doctor. I am a doctor of divinity, and you're a doctor of divinity too. We have the ability to heal ourselves through the way we think, and that's what we're going into. We went over this last night. We was given certain examples, and we gave the description, um, of the head, in connection with the feet, the little circles they try to make. But we dealing with the cell salts again. And we're gonna go into this. And I got a couple of measures here that actually where you got websites, a lot of websites where you can actually go and buy. This is a homeopathy store right here. And they have pretty much, different measures you can buy. Not just here, but different places. Y'all already know the different cell salts. When we come through the birth canal, unbeknownst to many of us, we actually have we come with only 9 cell salts, and the other 3 we are mostly deficient in. And they the deficient cell salts are the ones that cause us to end up, you know, uh, with different ailments. This is something that we don't know. We haven't been taught this, but this is knowledge that we can pass down to the young generation so they can beat a lot of these different monsters that come in the form of viruses, illnesses, and so forth and so on. So you have to know the cell salts that you are deficient in, and they are according to your birth chart. And once you're able to deal with that, you can begin to replenish your body, and you will see that certain ailments that you have, will begin to subside. And so this is the drawing here, along with that, and eating right and purifying your heart and mind, you can do a lot. So we have, again, cell salts for each and every body. These things can be found, throughout the internet, and they will aid you in most of the things that you are deficient in. You can go and find this stuff out here. This is not hid nowhere. These are cell salts per sign. And a lot of this information is based off the same information we was reading. Dr. George W. Carey and Inez Udera Perry, the book God, Man, the Word Made Flesh. There's even a big breakdown on each one of these that go a little deeper as well in this text, alongside God, Man, the Word Made Flesh. This is the book that actually deals with the cell salts. And here it is right here. You can see the title, Zodiac and the Salts of Salvation. This is very important. All right, come on. Don't go to acting crazy on me now. Now I guess my computer finna shut down again. This is foolish. Hold up. There we go. Okay, I was able to stop it that time. So, it deals with an esoteric analysis and synthesis, so to speak, of the zodiac sign and the chemical allocations. So this information is valuable. In here, it pretty much breaks down, these cell salts, and how relative they are to you, and helping you on all levels. This is like the companions to the book God, Man, Word Made Flesh. We went into it yesterday, talk about biochemistry. This is a real doctor that not only dealt with knowing they stuff when it comes to being a doctor, but also understanding, what we call physiology. He studied the science of biochemistry. And I also encourage our family that if you don't have it, get your copy of Grey's Anatomy. They got them for like $9-10 at Barnes and Noble. This guy applied all of this information and understood that it esoterically had a deeper meaning to it. And it was written in a lot of these texts that people study and they don't notice. And this information is most definitely, esoterically hidden right there in plain sight. It's crazy. For example, let's check out what he said. Esoteric chemistry. In this strenuous age of reconstruction, while God's created compounds are forming a new race in the morning of a new age, all who desire physical regeneration should strive by every means within their reach to build new tissue, nerve fluids, brain cells, thus literally making new bottles for the new wine. For be it known to all men that the word wine is used in scripture means blood. When used in connection with man, it also means the sap of trees and juice of vegetables or fruit. The parable of turning wine or water into wine at the marriage of Cana of Galilee is a literal statement of a process taking place every heartbeat in the human organism. Galilee means a circle of water or fluid. The circulatory system, Cana, means dividing place, the lungs. In the Greek, a place of reed. It says, are cells of lungs that vibrate sound. Biochemists have shown that food does not form blood, but simply furnishes the mineral base by setting free the inorganic or cell salts contained in all food stuff. The organic part, oil, fibrin, albumin, etc., contained in food is burned or digested in the stomach and intestinal tract to furnish motive power to operate the human machine and draw air into lungs, thence into arteries and air carriers. Therefore, it is clearly proved that air, spirit unites with minerals and forms blood, proving that the oil of albumin, etc., found in blood is created every breath at the marriage in Cana of Galilee. Air was called water upon pure sea. This Virgin Mary. So we see how water is changed into wine, blood, every moment. In the new age, we will need perfect bodies to correspond with the higher vibration or motion of the new blood. For old bottles or bodies cannot contain the new wine. Another allegorical statement typifying the same truth reads, "And I saw a new heaven and new earth." You know, the heaven is the mind and the earth is the body, right? It says a new mind and new body. You hear me say this all the time. Biochemistry may say with Walt Whitman, to the sick lying on their backs, I bring help. And to the strong, upright man, I bring more needed help. To be grouchy, cross-irritable, despondent, or easily discouraged is prima facie evidence that the fluids of the stomach, liver, brain are not vibrating at normal rate. The rate that results in equilibrium or health. Health cannot be qualified, poor health or good health. There must be either health or dishealth, ease or disease. We do not say poor ease or good ease. We say ease or disease. These not at ease. A sufficient amount of the cell salts of the body properly combined and taken as food, not simply to cure some ache, pain, or exudation, forms blood that materializes in healthy fluids, flesh and bone and tissue. It says we should take, take the tissue parts of cell salts as one uses health foods, not simply to change not health to health, but to keep the rate of blood vibration and the tone of health all the time. The ultimate of biochemistry. It says the microscope part itself increases the rate of motion of the cells of the retina, and we see things that were occulted to the natural rate of vibration of sight cells. Increase the rate of activity of brain cells by supplying more of the dynamic molecules of the blood known as mineral or cell salts of lime, potash, sodium, iron, magnesia, silica, and we see mentally truths. It says that we could not sense at the lower or natural rates of motion, although the lower rate may manifest ordinary health. Natural man or natural things must be raised from the level of nature, it says, to supernatural, in order to realize new concepts that lie waiting for recognition above the solar plexus, that is, above the animal or natural man. The positive pole or being must be lifted up from the kingdom of earth, animal desire, below the solar plexus to the pineal gland, which connects the cerebellum, the temple of the spiritual ego, with the optic thalamus, the third eye. By this regenerative process, millions of dormant cells of the brain are resurrected and set in operation, and then man no longer sees through a glass darkly, but with the eye of spiritual understanding. To those who object to linking chemistry with astrology, the writer has this to say: the cosmic law is not in the least disturbed by negative statements of ignorant individuals. Those investigators of natural phenomena would delve deeply to find truth and pay little heed to the dabbler who says, I can't understand how the zodiac signs have any relation to the cell salts of the human body. The sole reason that he cannot understand is because he never tried to understand. A little earnest, patient study will open the understanding of anyone possessed of ordinary intelligence and make the plain great truth that the universe is what the word implies, i.e., one verse. It logically follows that all parts of one thing are susceptible to the operation of any part. The human body is an epitome of the cosmos. Each sign of the zodiac is represented by the 12 functions of the body and the position of the sun at birth. Therefore, the cell salt corresponding to the sign of the zodiac and the function of the body is consumed more rapidly than other salts, and an extra amount is needed to supply the deficiency caused by the sun's influence at that particular time. Space will permit only a brief statement of the awakening of humanity to the greater occult truths. However, the following from India will indicate the trend of new thought. Dr. Carey's remarkable researches in the domain of healing art have left no stone unturned. His discovery of the zodiacal cell salts has added a new page in the genesis of healing art, and writes Swaminatha Bhamia, MB, PhD, look like scientist, FIAC, in the article of Self Culture magazine published at number 105 Armenian Street, GT Madras, India. You know, and this goes into the 12 cell salts of the zodiac, and it gets deep. And he actually break down each one of these. Each one of these pretty much, you know, I like this right here. It said the ophthalmos, meaning the light of the chamber, is the inner or the third eye situated in the center of the head. It connects the pineal gland and the pituitary body. The optic nerve starts from this eye single. If thine eye be single, thy whole body will be full of light. The ophthalmos is the Aries planet, and when man fully developed through the physical regeneration, see God, man, the word made flesh, it lifts the initiate from the kingdom of the earth, the animal desire below the solar plexus, to the pineal gland that connects the cerebellum temple of the spiritual ego with the ophthalmos third eye. You know, and it goes again and says, you know, how the brain is regenerated. And you can go into each one of these different signs, and it breaks down, you know, whatever it is, you know, that relates to you, so to speak. For example, it deals with Taurus, the winged bull of the zodiac here. It says the ancients were not primitive men. There never was a first man or primitive man. Man is an eternal verity, the truth. The truth never had a beginning. This is why we say time never was when man was not. Spirit man, right? It says the winged bull of Nineveh is a symbol of the great truth that substances materialize air, and that all so-called solid substances may be resolved into air. Taurus is an earth sign, but earth's soul is precipitated aerial elements. This chemical fact was known to scientists of the Taurian age over 4,000 years ago. Therefore, they carved the image, or the emblem, pardon self, of their zodiac sign with wings. Those born between the dates of April the 21st and May the 21st can descend very deep into materiality, or so soar high as that of heaven. Well, Taurus wills. It says, as written by Edwin Markham, who is a Taurus native. What can be finer than the following from this noted Taurian? He who has spotted the wings of a spiritual concept. It is a vision waiting and aware, and you must bring it down, O men of worth. Bring down the new republic, hung in air, and make for it foundations on the earth. Air is the raw material for blood, and when it is drawn in or breathed in, rather by infinite alchemists, the infinite alchemists, to the blood vessels, it unites with the philosopher's stone, mineral salts, and in the human laboratory creates blood. So then blood is the elixir of life, the ichor of the gods. The sulfate sodium, known to druggists as natron sulfate, chemically represents, corresponds to the physical, mental characteristics of those born in the Taurus month. Taurus is represented by the cerebellum or lower brain and neck. A deficiency in natron sulfate in the blood is always manifested by pains in the back of the head, and sometimes extending down the spine and affecting the liver. The first cell salt to become deficient in the symptoms of disease in the Taurus native is natrium sulfate. The chief of office of natrium sulfate is to eliminate an excess of water from the body. In hot water, the atmosphere becomes heavy laden with water and is thus breathed into the blood through the lungs. One molecule of the Taurus salt has the chemical power to take up and carry out of the system 2 molecules of water. Blood does not become overcharged with water from the water we drink, but from an atmosphere overcharged with aqueous vapor drawn from the water in rivers, lakes, and swamps by heat of the sun above 70 degrees in shade. The more surplus water there is to be drawn out of the blood, the more sodium sulfate required. It says all so-called bilious or malarial troubles are simply a chemical effect or action caused by deficient sulfate of soda. Chills and fever are nature's method of getting rid of surplus of water by squeezing it out of the blood through violent muscular, nervous, and vascular spasms. No shakes or argue can occur if blood be properly balanced chemically. It says governing planet Venus, gems, mossagate, and emerald. Astral colors, red and lemon yellow. In the Bible, alchemy, Taurus represents Asher. It says the 8th son of Jacob and means blessedness or happiness. In the symbolism of the New Testament, Taurus corresponds to the disciple, Thaddeus, meaning firmness, or led by love. And then it goes into the chemistry of the Gemini. So these are all breakdowns on each one of these signs and the cell salts that deal with the deficiencies. You know, it's in this particular work right here. It's the companion, like I say, to God, man, the word made flesh, which we was reading here. You see, very strong, powerful, esoteric work. Let me check in on my family and see if we got some of our family here. Okay. We see a few of our family. I'm going to drop this link again, just in case somebody want to come in. You know, I check right back if you have anything you would like to say. And also peace to our family, A.T. Sankofa, you know, and all the brother Bond Dog, Drathio, you know, everybody that checked in, you know. Our good brother Muf, MUF, we give honors to you as well. So, let me go back to this drawing, like I said, because I'm going to be closing it out in a second. But I really want our family, for goodness gracious, I want our family to become knowledgeable, you know, these cell salts, man. And try them out and tell me what you think, man. How your health, you know, do it pick up. What is that? So I'm going to go back to God, man, the word made flesh. And because it's both from the same author. And again, this is pretty much giving you the truth between the esoteric history of the biblical text and a lot of these other texts that's out here. But it said, what so-called Christians say in the answer. It says, Christ was a man born of a woman, right? We believe in Jesus. We expect to die and be saved. Jesus is greater than man. Only Jesus was conceived of the Holy Ghost. You know, we will go to heaven when we die. The earth will be destroyed. I believe in Jesus. I'm born of God. Jesus Christ is the man and Savior and died, went away, and will come again. Jesus was born, conceived of the Holy Ghost. The Ghost is the breath in Greek, the whole breath of the air breathed in. He that believeth in me shall never die. Death is an enemy to be overcome. You know, and then it goes into the other ones. All that ye do, I can do. I do, ye can do, pardon self. And know ye not that the Holy Ghost dwelleth in you. The kingdom of heaven is within you. Thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. The earth endureth forever. These signs shall follow those who believe in me. It's etc, etc. He that is born of God will not sin, for his seed remaineth in him. He that confesseth not that Jesus Christ is come in the flesh, your flesh, the same is an antichrist. That means one opposed to the truth that there's a seed born in you from the Christ oil in you, and unto thee and to thy seed, which is Christ, Paul. So it says, for more evidence that Jesus Christ and the Christ you are in your flesh, for more evidence that Jesus and Christ are in your flesh, see first epistle of John, 4th chapter and 2nd and 3rd verses. The Greek and Hebrew text of our scriptures plainly teach that Jesus and Christ, John in baptism, crucifixion, and ascension, the triumph of the ego over the enemy and death, are in the substance and potentialities of the body, and that these fluids can and will save the physical body if conserved and not consumed or wasted in sexual or animal desire. In other words, it's saying that the seed, which represents Jesus and the Christ, the oil, if you conserve these things and save it, again, it replenishes the body. This is the real meaning behind the resurrection. And it says all of whatever name or religious denomination who teach a contrary doctrine agree with Constantine, who appeared in the latter days of the pure Christian practice. Who is the Antichrist? Look at a world of ruins. Does a good tree bring forth evil fruit? The so-called teachers of and believers in Christianity believe, as Constantine and his parent, a priest, that Christ is out in the desert of the Judean hills, out on Calvary. Do they ever look for the meaning of Calvary in Greek? Calvary means skull, and Golgotha, the place of the skull, exactly where the skull seed is crucified. It says one half of the combatants in the world's Armageddon have been praying as Constantine prayed for God's help and for Christ's sake. The other half pray to the same imaginary God in Christ out in the desert of their own ignorance for peace and victory. Return and come unto God, the God in Christ within you, O ye deluded ones. In the bugles, it says, will all sing truce along the iron front of war. It says, and the ransom of the Lord will return to Zion with song and everlasting joy upon their faces. So it says, Ribla, that made the womb man. For the Lord hath created a new thing in the earth. A woman shall compass a man. Jeremiah 31st chapter, verse 22. And she brought forth a man child. See Revelation chapter 12 and 1-6. Riblah, the eastern boundary of Israel. It was between Shechem and the sea of the Gennesareth, as they say in the Smith's Bible Dictionary. This was the place of the holy fountain. But when the fullness of time was come, God sent forth his son and made of a woman made under the law. Galatians 4:4. The children of Israel, warriors of God, see Smith's Bible Dictionary, are 13 seeds. Jacob's children, name changed to Israel. There is no historical land of Israel. The name is first found in the secret or sacred writings pertaining to the inner functions of the human body. So they saying the real land of Israel is inside the body, purely chemical and physiological. Sacred from sacral refers to the lower part of the spinal column. Secret from secretion, gray matter or oil from the upper brain, the fountain of life, the secret place of the Most High, heaved up place, the heaven within us. N, the 14th letter of the Hebrew alphabet, added to heave makes it heaven, because the seed, the fish which noon, the 14th letter represents on being carried to the pineal gland, regenerates the individual, and the upper brain becomes a manifested heaven. The seed seeks the kingdom of heaven. There is probably no definite trace of the semilunar ganglion, two half-moon-shaped ganglion near the superior, superineal glands situated near the kidneys that connect the spinal cord at the 12th dorsal vertebra with the solar plexus in the body of an infant. Yet it is quite probable, if not certain, that the vestigial form, power, and potency is implanted there at birth. When the boy or girl reaches about 12, the semilunar manger, that's in that solar plexus region, or noon, the fish, this is born. This is where you start having desires. Puberty reaches point, as they call it. It says the full function, and hence Jeremiah's declaration. It is evident that the fluids, creative, omnipotent, flowing out of Eden to water the garden, Genesis 2, verse 10, creates a new thing in the earth, the body. About that age, using Ribboleth to make the woman or the womb man or the womb in mankind, male or female. This womb does compass a circle of man, child seed. The seed is the son of man. Again, know ye not that the Son of Man have power in earth to forgive sin. All of this is talking about what's going on inside of you. So it says analysis of man according to the Jewish Kabbalah reveals the fact that M, the 13th letter of the alphabet, means woman, mother, and is written thus Mem. And it says A, the first letter Alf, means father, a male, a strength of forces. N, the 14th letter of the alphabet, means fruit, son, child, savior that redeems. Therefore, man is mother first, or Mary, then father, then son, redeemer, hence destined to be ultimately saved. The sun and moon, see Joshua commanding the sun to stand still. And the pneumogastric, or the vagus nerve, and the spinal cord, and that portion of the body above the median line, or the middle wall of partition. See, this is why you need Gray's Anatomy to know what these things are. Is exactly the same in man and woman and the functions in the kingdom. And each body enables them to separately and alone to work out their own salvation or secretions. See Joseph and Mary, they're talking about the pineal and pituitary gland. The pineal pituitary body, both in one human organism. Thus in my kingdom, saith the seed, there is no marrying, nor giving in marriage. Note Riblah, the eastern boundary of Israel. Within the body, it says this, or the back is called the east, the front is called the west, the feet the south, and down south, head called the north, or up north. Hence, the semilunar ganglion is east of Israel, the regenerative womb in man. According to Hindu secret writings, God took a rib out of the female to make the male. Literally speaking, this idea would be much more reasonable than a literal rendering of the passage in Genesis. A woman hid a little leaven in a bag of meal, and it leavened the whole lump. Woman, a womb in man. The upper or regenerative womb, leaven or yeast, the seed that come forth from the womb in man expands or causes the oil in the spinal cord or bag of meal to multiply. See loaves and fishes in the gospel. Also give 1/10 of tithes to the Lord. No wonder David, the seed, is made to say, if the man whose delight is in God and in thy law will I meditate day and night. So this is a whole breakdown of basically showing you how a lot of this stuff refer to the life force in us, the seed that we have within us, brothers, and how, again, if you save them, they become like stones to build a temple of perfected man. Each seed is like a stone, that builds up the psyche and the consciousness, makes you stronger, make your body stronger. It replenishes again, these cells in the body. So you have a Messiah within you. You have a Savior within you that comes to resurrect, the body by resurrecting the cells of the body. And this goes into what we call cellular respiration, to cause, a purification or a purging process. All of this knowledge is necessary, to become, we can say, healthy. It's even said to turn back one's time, and bring about the fountain of youth. So you may be 44, but you don't look 44. You may be 50, but you don't look 50. And this all has to do with, really abstinence, proper dieting, and also replenishing the body with cell salts, the ones that you lack, those minerals that you lack. All of this story that's being told about Jesus allegorically, has a representation. It ain't just his other texts too. Again, like I say, we can apply the same knowledge to any other religious text or any book. God, man, the word made flesh. So it's a couple of more of them in here, but I'm gonna stop right there because this is some heavy information. And I don't want to pour the whole age of Aquarius on our people at one time, but we want to come back to it just to show our people, man, the importance of understanding the true meaning behind Jacob's ladder, understanding the true esoteric meaning behind, what these stories are saying and how you can use this knowledge, again, to replenish yourself. I encourage our family to get a copy of Gray's Anatomy and look at these works, God, man, the word made flesh. Because what this causes you to do is what I tell people to do all the time. Read the book of creation, family. This is information that can be made applicable to you. You know how people always say, what's me understanding this going to help? You understanding this actually help you be able to heal yourself. You understanding this help you, have the knowledge to be able to tweak your health, so to speak. You see, that's the importance of this information. So this is how our ancestors were able to use this information. Our family say faith in Jesus Christ redeems the sinful man from his old nature into a new creation to the glory of God. Praise God. Faith in the Jesus Christ within you. That's right. Faith in the Jesus Christ within you, will redeem you. And the sins have to do with, spilling that seed all over the place. Trying to lay down with any and every woman. That's the real, killer. That's where the Antichrist mindset come in at. Y'all know it, the gigolo mindset. It have been, even within the church, you got preachers in there, trying to seduce women in cases. So, and it ain't just the church, it's in a lot of these different religious groups of so forth and so on. So the real aspect dealing with Jesus Christ, has to do with Jesus, as it represents the seed of life. And Christ represents the oil, because the word Christ comes from Christos. This is, you even hear it when they had Crisco oil. But Christos or Christi represents the oil that comes down from the brain, or the colostrum is what they call it. It saturates the gray matter, but when it comes down, and is allowed to go into the region of the belly, which is known as Bethlehem, the house of bread, right? This is what a seed, is then cycled throughout the body, and the minerals from the seed replenishes the body because it flows from the feet all the way back up to the head and starts the cycle again. And this happens every 29 and a half some days. You see? So this is a monthly process. But when you get into a state where you can abstain from misusing your life force, going to lay down and you do, y'all already know what I'm talking about. When you get into a state of self-mastery, you become a neophyte, in the temple of self-mastery. You the temple. The real Jordan stream in which you must be washed is within you. It has to do with that same oil coming down that spinal cord. This is the Jordan stream. Esoterically. This stuff they don't teach you openly. You see? I'm giving you things that these people keep in secret from you. It is the secret, that they keeping from you. And this is why most of our people are ill, or sickness. The sinful ways had to do with being in a reprobated mind and not wanting to change your condition and therefore heal yourself. Physician, physician, you have the ability to heal yourself. Take up your bed and walk, Lazarus. They don't get what I'm saying. They think I'm preaching over here. And I'm giving a whole scientific discourse. You see what I'm saying? So yeah, it's a powerful demonstration, family. I'm gonna drop this link one more time. And if our people don't come on here, I'm gonna go ahead and shut this demonstration down because we've been building. This was a good build tonight, you know. Despite our brother um, just asking basic questions in the beginning, dealing with other measures, we was able to bring more information out. And that's what we want you to do. We want you to ask questions up in here. We don't run from it. We just say we have to be mature in our conversation, and all is well. All is well. So, okay, I see don't nobody want to come in here, so that's all right. Y'all know we gonna keep it going. It's another late night library session. We're gonna keep bringing this truth, just like we have always. Uh, that's the main thing. Keep bringing it to our people, family. So at this time, I'm gonna go ahead and run us out with a trike then. That way I can raise up in the morning and get about the affair. We already in the morning, but raise up in a few hours and get about my affairs. Handle some business around here. So let me pull a trike up and we're gonna close this demonstration out. Okay, I see one of our brother SMKSMK. Yes, sir, most definitely, bro. We're gonna give you the truth over here. Yeah, we're gonna keep putting this truth out here, man. Be sure to hit that like, share, and subscribe, as well, brother. And let the people know, because we're going to give you everything. We ain't hiding nothing from you over here. If you come to this page, I can promise you, and you really pay attention to what's being said, you're going to be well educated, on various different topics. And I promise you, you're going to have people running from you when you start asking them questions based on the information you've been exposed to. See, that's why they don't like the brother commission. That's why they don't like to deal with me, because I put information out here, that cause people to question, these individuals. And so they don't want you question. They feel like this stuff's supposed to be something that they can have. A lot of this stuff they try to keep secret and use it and say they're trying to teach you something, but I'm putting it all out there. They don't like that because I'm giving it to you free. I want to see our people know what's going on, man. We got babies demonstrating mathematics now. Putting the L's is a shame. So let me go ahead and pull this track up real quick, and I'm gonna run it in the background. Give me 1 second.
As a child, I was scared. Many questions don't know my mental premature, like all the burned antennas I used to find with smutty tips in the sofas. Every room in my crib was full of smokers. See, I could play outside when my mother was high, but when she joined, I was punished and told her to come inside. Lonely, depressed, and stressed cause my daddy was gone. I estimated it was 85, but it was alone and found another place to call home. What's the significance of 85 when it's pertaining to bond, this broken home and addiction of a people despise? I'm the rejected condition, thinking to myself, am I the only one who suffers? Cause even today, no one relates to my struggles. I'ma get it from the muscle, even on the thread of muscles, learn to spread this hustle. Now these crackers will never touch us.
Out on the road today, I saw a dead head stick around a Cadillac. A little voice inside my head said, don't look back, you can never look back. Thought I knew what love was, but yeah, I know. Those days are gone forever.
When I was first enrolled in pre-K, I was rebelling, cause I could perceive the favoritism. My teacher was yelling, giving me expectations of the failures I was facing. They stagnated my drive for education. That's when I noticed the tension of racial classes, and how the have and have-nots make up the masses. For real niggas and house niggas and Uncle Tom, known as the town of the 10 for controlling the slum. Manipulators deceiving the blind, deaf and dumb, train the motives for fears and keep our brains numb. They used the image of Martin to tell us it was useless. To rebel Malcolm and Iunet, knowing they was conducive. Counterinsurgency measures became a factor. Since it's a war on chairs, I'm taking captive. I'm suspect in the pretext is to serve and protect, but I'ma spit it to my death.
Out on the road today, I saw a dead head stick around a Cadillac. A little voice inside my head said, don't look back, you can never look back. Thought I knew what love was, but yeah, I know. Those days are gone forever. I should just let them go.
Yes, sir. Peace and love, family. Peace and love. All is well. I just been digging in the archives. I pulled up something that's a real old one right there. Yeah, I've been trying to teach our people all through the music. That was my main goal in the beginning, so I had to come out of the booth and come out here and bring the proof and the truth to the people. So I got to get back in the lab too to bring our people some more insight. So we love you, family. Y'all get y'all some shit eye and go check these cell salts out, man. I'm telling you, man, look this information up and do some self-healing. Really get into self-healing, family. And stop letting these individuals affect you in your frequency as well. It's certain music that you listen to and it lowers the frequency and the vibration. It is literally killing you at the cellular level. So you want to get into, the God frequency. And God frequency is 963 hertz. That's what you want. That's God frequency. Like for example, our brother Tupac's song, Only God Can Judge Me. That's on God frequency. A couple of more of the brother's songs that he got is God. A lot of Tupac music is God frequency. It heal you at the cellular level, so to speak. So you need to listen. He ain't the only one. There's a couple of more artists out there. A lot of Bob Marley music as well. Y'all know who they are. It heals the body. It aids in cellular therapy, so to speak. So that being said, family, we giving jewels that you can use. Peace and love. It's all love, man. I love every one of you brothers and sisters, if it's some out there that's listening to this special information. We got more to come. We're a well that never run dry. We like the well of Zim when it comes to this information. Peace and love, family. Peace and love.